Good evening everybody. I hope you're doing well this fine Sunday evening. Welcome one and all. Let me switch on over to the regular scene. Slight change of appearance here tonight. Got a new outfit for Samadan, so I thought I'd put him into a new scenario as well. Oh, Rasheen coming straight in, 17 months, that's amazing. Good evening to you, Rasheen. Thank you so much for your extended support. That's amazing, 17 months. Thank you so much. That really means the world to me. Thank you very much. Who do we have in tonight? We've got Edwards, we've got Kozakov, Reclaw, Cow King, Trivial Gnome, Metcat, Det, Rasheen of course, and Hypnosis, Fierce Boy, Silent Mouse, and Mushy. Good evening to you both. The moment when you hear the click and you're going to hear good evening in 2 seconds. That's the giveaway, isn't it? As soon as I unmute the mic with my mouse, you can hear it coming through. Apophis, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Twitch is being lazy. No warning. No warning again. Oh, that's a shame. Good evening to you, Lizard, as well. And Commander Bond, and Andy Magyar. Good evening, one and all. I hope you're having a lovely evening so far. It's been lovely and warm here in the UK. So had a very busy weekend, so it will be nice to spend a nice relaxing evening with a bit of WoW amongst friends and discussing all the latest goings on in the gold making community. I'll keep an eye on the Wowhead blog once it goes live. Then we'll go, oh, it actually has gone live. There we go, we can pop that up straight away. And then I'll go through and we can talk about that first and foremost, I think. We'll start talking about that and then we can go through. I've got lots of gold makings to do because everything has expired. I haven't had a lot of time over the weekend to play other than doing things for the Wowhead blog, so we'll just go through and update my command for the Wowhead blog and then we can edit that one in. There we go, paste that in and we'll finish that one off. And Thorf Cake coming in with your Twitch Prime, that's so kind of you, welcome on board. Thank you very much for your support. Let's see, a whole load of emotes for you to use as you will. Thank you very much indeed. So kind of you. We're just going to go through the Wowhead blog first and foremost. But before I do that, have a look at Samadan's new outfit. So when we did that Mythic Plus, we did get a nice looking hat, which is all very tentacly. So I took that hat and I just ran with it, and I went full on as tentacly as I could, and changed my mount to the Teldrassil Hippogriff. So we've gone a lot more purple and tentacly at the moment, but hopefully that should change the appearance. We shall obviously be putting the chef's hat on, so no worries about that. That will change the look somewhat amazingly, I think. Good evening, Will and Jack. Refer to Cookies. I refer you as Cookie's dad to my wife, who is a retired vet tech. That's brilliant. I am officially Cookie and Oreo's dad. That's very, very true, definitely. I had a little bit of an outfit change, Metcat. And John Levy, thank you very much. 3 months of Prime. That's so kind of you. Thank you very much. Edward sold it. And Doc Otter, good afternoon to you. Let's see, loads of emotes for John Levy. Not only have you subbed for 3 months, you've also kicked off a hype train, so that's a wonderful start to the evening. Thank you, everyone. Lovely to have you all here. We do have the Wellhead blog is live at the moment, so I'll just go through and bring that up on screen for the moment. There's the link to it. And so there's a few interesting things to talk about this evening, so we'll just move this one on over. Let me just move that down and move that, and then we should keep that down. And hi Brian, thank you also for using your Prime. So kind of you, another one coming in. That's very, very kind of you. I'll pop some emotes for you as soon as I just resized this. There we go. Finally a transmog that is well thought out. I went with a hat and just ran from there. But thank you, hi Brian, that's very, very kind of you. Let's see, loads of emotes for you. Thank you very much indeed. Super duper kind of you. We've got an interesting Wowhead blog today. Interesting things coming from the ethics of baiting being one of them. And would be an interesting discussion. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that. And some other things we've got. Latest updates on TSM 4.10. Some updates to WorthIt, so that DalaGG's gone through and then a whole collection of things that's about a newcomer's approach to gold making and what people are doing, with the fact that people are starting to think, hang on a minute, the Brutosaur's about to go, I better do something about that. Oh, Det coming in with your Prime as well, so kind of you. Thank you very much indeed. That is a hype train and a half, definitely. Thank you all. That is absolutely brilliant. And thank you for your support, Det. Really do appreciate it. Lots of emotes coming through today. Thomas baiting hides in the shadows. What else have we got? Did I miss anything else coming in? Just quickly scanning through in case I missed anything. If I have missed anyone, hopefully I have caught you in time. I think I've got everything there. You've had it with the auction house and crafting at the moment. Raw gold all the way for you. Well, that's fair enough, Will. I mean, it can be quite competitive at the moment. I think a lot of people. It's an interesting time of the expansion, really. Not only do we have the usual lull where people are looking for transmog and things like that, I think at this stage, because of the Brutosaur going, I think we have a disproportionately high amount of people trying to make gold. And also because of the way there isn't a lot of passive gold making within BFA itself, I think a lot of people are really trying to cover the same markets. And I think that's where you're seeing a lot of competition, a lot of money going down, and a lot of markets crashing as a result. So, Rectal, thank you very much. 300 bits, so kind of you. A little contribution to the hype trends, pushing it almost up to 67% then. Don't give up the ship. Exactly. I mean, you're still doing gold making by doing the raw gold farms. You're just keeping it within your control. That's the main thing. Been lurking a lot on recent streams, but thanks for the entertainment and knowledge. You're more than welcome to. What is ethics, Dev? Good to have you here. I'd love to hear your viewpoint on this one. This could be an interesting one. Your profits have definitely gone down. You managed to get to 4 million, but you feel like the last million will be a lot harder. Interesting, Edwards. I mean, your first 4 million has gone amazingly fast. So I've got no doubt that you'll be able to get that last million. Lots of cheap mats on offer. There are definitely indeed. Time to do that. Good evening, Gwilyn. How are you? I hear you had a couple of busy days, so it's lovely to have you here. Got your Bruto first week of BFA, no real targets, just going to level 24 alts and do old world map farms. Yeah, I think that is. I think that's a good approach if you're in that position, certainly. Malbrex, good evening to you, and Chris Cocardo, good evening to you. So let's have a look at the Wowhead blog. So yes, the first topic is the ethics of baiting. So this came up this week on Reddit, and I thought it was an interesting time to talk about it because we did touch upon it a couple of times previously in the stream, where people were talking about using this as a method for getting the cheaper price things, whether who you're up against is someone who's just automatically doing it, or whether you just suspect them from just mashing buttons or actually paying any attention. It's an interesting one, and it's much the same as putting stuff on a absurdly high price and then getting the sale of that and benefiting from that. This is kind of like the opposite, putting something on at a very low price and benefiting from that as well. And Dalios, thank you very much for the follow. A sale's a sale, no returns. I mean, that is kind of like the general approach. You're doing this not necessarily to manipulate the market, but you're basically testing different price brackets and seeing whether other people will match your price or whether they're going to go for anything else beyond that. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you all for the hype train. Thank you all indeed. We got some emotes coming through there. A whole load of them. Thank you so much, everyone. How can I get rid of that? There we go. You've gone from 200k per week to hitting over 500k per week now. Auction House doesn't seem to be slowing down. That's a fantastic position to be in, the Cow King. Brilliant. Always buy their stuff cheap. One guy should really fed up with me buying his cheap bait stuff. Oh, that's brilliant. I love the Choo Choo hype ghost. I hadn't seen that one before. Still think will sell eventually. Gold is still gold when it comes down to it. It does feel nice though when you don't have a deadline to get the Brutosaur. I think so. I think a lot of people are feeling that pressure at the moment, and I do sort of feel for those that struggle with how to make gold in this interesting time of the expansion. We'll go through that a little bit later on the economy blog and talk about people who are just starting their journey. Undercuts every 15 seconds. Any suggestions? Well, you could try mailbacks if you do believe it's a bot or someone that's just not paying attention and posting very, very regularly. It could be a question of where we're talking about here of baiting is putting something in at a low price and seeing if they match your low price. Take it down to 60% or 50% of the market average and see whether anyone is going to post at the same price, and maybe you can either buy those and resell them on, or maybe that's an indication of where the market's headed. You try to do 1/10 of the price. That might be beyond. It's a question of finding out what other people's. I mean, the chances are a lot of people are using something like TSM, and so it all depends on their brackets and what their min and max price is. Oh, the Shower of Dave coming in with a raid of 35. Oh, it's so kind of you. How was your stream, Dave? I hope it was all well. Welcome everybody from Dave's stream. Lovely to have you all here. If you don't know me already, my name is Samadan, and we are currently going through the Wowhead economy blog, which I wrote earlier this week. So we're just talking about an interesting topic at the moment, the ethics of baiting. So therefore that's putting things through and at a really low price and seeing if other people match your price and then buying them for, like in this case, say Tide Spray linen at 99 silver, and see if you can pick some up at that price. Oh, lovely to see so many new names here. Lovely to have you all here from Dave's stream. Turned in close to 60,000 in bloods this week. Wow, that's a lot, Dave. That's a lot indeed. Good afternoon, everyone. Big J and Phil Magic and No One Plays and Sonark the Hunter. Lovely to have you all here. Just make sure the price you put it at isn't a huge loss for you. Yes, exactly as Will says. You know, you don't put something on that you're not prepared to lose, because someone who does know their market prices will certainly buy things up at that price. So it's always worth having a look, knowing your market. I mean, as Khadgar says, knowledge is power, and I think in this case it's very, very true. And I know I've done this myself in terms of I haven't tweaked my TSM settings and I put things on for a ridiculously low price by mistake. I've done it with things like the rich purple silk shirt, selling those for 8 gold when I meant to sell them for 4,000 gold, and things like that. And it was an error on my part, and I certainly didn't contact the buyer and say, look, I put that on at the wrong price. I simply said, okay, well, that was my lesson. I better adjust my TSM strings accordingly. So it does come down to sort of knowing your market prices and showing due diligence and caution, and seeing if you do fall foul of this, then lessons learned and move on. I would always take that approach personally from that side of things. In terms of actually deliberately putting something down to push the market price lower, it's not something I've done personally a lot, but it's something I certainly would do. And I used to do it in the way that when I was buying things off the auction house before the new auction house came out, I would always leave one on that was at the small price, just in case anyone else posted at that price. So that's pretty much the same kind of principle. Rather than deliberately putting one on, I would always leave one on at that price. But that was back when you used to be able to buy things that were higher than that price. Now you automatically have to buy the cheapest possible. Have I done the B mounts in Stormsong? Notice that the honey required for the grind sells really well currently. I haven't, Rhyperia, I haven't done that B mount at all. That is something to look into. I know that the honey does sell, certainly, and I could maybe integrate that with a bit of herb and ore farming around that area, perhaps on other characters maybe. A good day I learned for the Pelagons: you can buy Frozen Autumn Old Dalaran and trade them for Eternals. Don't buy Eternals directly unless less than 60 gold each. Yes, that's one that's caught me out before, Malbrax. For me, my price is about 70-75 gold because I don't have the reputation to get it at 60 gold. But yeah, that's a good one, definitely. Thank you for sharing that one. I can also see someone else baiting. Use their bait and try to sweep it out from under them. yes, if you do see one that's odd there, then keep an eye on that, and then just keep re-scanning until you see someone else post it on. And then if you're, it's basically another form of sniping, really, isn't it? What's that high peep you're hearing in the stream? Oh, it's gone now. It might have been the washing machine downstairs, but that was a long way away. I'll be surprised if my microphone picked that one up. You do get a lot of ore from passive gathering whilst out getting honey. Yeah, I think it is a good route. I've seen it mentioned before. That could be it. Let me just swap over and make sure that I'm not AFK on my main screen there, and then we can go through this. So it was an interesting topic started here by Tim Tank, and then there was other people sort of like having mixed emotions about the post, sharing their own knowledge of the mistakes they made, and they blame themselves and lessons learned there, which is kind of like the general consensus as far as I go on it. Your take on it? I think it's all fine. It's within the context of the game, and it's possible to do it. It goes both ways as well, high and low. Don't really see a problem with that. It's not like there's a certain few people that can do it. People try to do it on your server. You get cheap mats when they try, and you're catching it. Exactly, Derb. I think I'd totally agree with you on that one. $GG has a video. That must be where I found it from. The one about going around and doing the bee farm as well as everything. That must be where I saw it. Oh, and hi Brian, thank you very much for the cheers. That's so kind of you. Thank you very much indeed. So speaking of $GG, he has released another video going through how to set up WorthIt, because it's been really nice to see the WorthIt add-on expand over the sort of like the past few months, and today is the day to buy cheap herbs. Is it, Mushy? Is there a particular reason why today is a good day? But I definitely will have a look out for that when I'm next on those characters. Remind me again, and we'll definitely go through that. But at the moment, yes, we're talking about WorthIt. The raw gold module on WorthIt. Yeah, that will be very nice. There's lots of really interesting things that they've been developing on here. Very much towards the person who, you know, if you're not sure what to do, or if you want to see whether the prices match on your server based on how TSM reads it, because people farmed it. Okay, Mushy, I'll have a look. So for this one, it's basically, you know, how to set it up, what it's about, and so it's a very useful video to go through. And there's lots of exciting new features coming up on the WorthIt add-on. So I highly recommend having a look at that one if you are either new to gold making or you want to spice up your gold making and look for something more efficient. Certainly. Then moving on, if you caught this on whilst I've been streaming, any updates from TSM 4.10 Alpha, I share them as much as possible, but I thought I'd collate a few of the updates this week as part of the blog post, because there's some really interesting things on the colour schemes that's been coming through. Drizzling Rose, good evening to you. I hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here. So one of the themes, I like this new Winamp colour scheme they've got here, but there's a nice mix of different preview things you can see here, which is quite nice, because initially you couldn't see these, so it's lovely to see those coming through. Other updates, we spoke about this on the Thursday stream, where there's a much more informative tooltip when opening mail, and the actual text changes now depending on whether you're pressing Control or Shift down or both down. You get lots of different options telling you what exactly is the expected outcome of pressing it on that one. So I think that's a really nice touch to do that. Yeah, Winamp. I think that's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek one, because apparently I think when TSM was first out, they said the colour scheme looks a bit like Winamp, but I like it. I think it's a nice selection. One of the other things I spotted is the when you hover over your gold in the top right corner of the auction house window, you now get a really nice breakdown summary of your total gold, which character, like this particular character, had, how much they posted on, and then how much gold each character has. I thought this was really nice, just sort of give yourself a look at a glance just to see what your gold situation is like. It's really nice, especially having the posted auctions on here as well. The Marsh Hare, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. In fact, if I go over to Samadan, we have a look at this. This is where it was based from. Doesn't quite fit the Brutosaur, but literally when you hover over the gold here, so at the moment, because I've got 0 sold and 0 posted auctions, because everything's expired, and hopefully we can get that lot on, and we'll sort that out. But that's really nice. They've done wonders with this add-ons for sure, definitely. Now that I would like to have as a Titan panel plugin. So what would you get for the Titan panel? I don't use Titan. What extra information do you get? Someone reset the Umbra on your servers, 88 gold each. Interesting, Malrax. I don't ever buy Umbras myself because they are literally, I've got thousands of them in my guild bank that I haven't really quite got enough time to deal with them yet. You have an add-on that does a similar things. I can't recall the name of it. Might be built into the Elf UI. Could be Altaholic. I do think Altaholic is one of them. Do you manage to sell them? Oh, fantastic. I tried putting a few on. I have about 20 on at a time, but I never seem to get any sales of them. Titan panel gives you info above your game, so you don't have to open or hover over it to see the info. Ah, right, okay. Oh yes, I did, Mushy. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to respond to that one because I was busy sort of taking these screenshots for the Wowhead blog. But I did see that you mentioned it was Expulsum Day, and I did see just before once I came on that looking at the world quests over here in Borealis, wasn't it? We have 5 and 10 Expulsum, which is absolutely massive. So there's Tide Spray Linen and Enchant Weapon Torrent of Elements. So I'm going to definitely go over here and have a look and collect those up. Thank you for giving me the heads up on that one. Sorry I didn't get a chance to respond before. I was kind of pushed for time this morning. LVI shows you all that information. Okay, McVamey. Titan is one of your 3 must-haves. I use it to show location, EXP per hour, playtime to level, bag space, item durability, gold, and performance. Okay, so it pretty much has everything. Did you get 10? Maybe it's an enchanting thing. Maybe because I got the enchanting one as well. I'll have a look on other characters. But I'll have a look. I'll make a note of that to look at the Titan panel. It does sound quite good. Here we go. Oh, Jack's got a picture of it. Oh right, it's all this at the top. I see. So it gives you all the information. That's nice. I like that. And then you've got your resources and your gold and things over that side. Okay. Oh, your gold's on this side. Gold, you can make it display player gold or realm gold or total gold. And if you hover over it, it shows which. Oh, that's very nice. I like that. It's nice and discreet and out of the way. So I could see that being useful. You prefer LVI, which has all that stuff built in. Customize the way you like it. Yeah, I think that does look good. Definitely, I'll have to look into that one. So moving on, the next topic, we'll go through some more TSM 4.10 during the stream as well, obviously. And it's got lots of skins to pick from as well. Yes, I haven't really messed around with skins too much. I tend to stick with default as much as I can. So this was an interesting video I saw this week from Lazy Beast Gaming, and it was very interesting from this respect because it's someone who is basically has never really ever made gold, and at this point has now said, right, okay, is it too late to get the Longboy? Am I going to be able to do that? And it's gone through their approach, what they're going to do, and where they found their information, using the Brutosaur calculator and the farms that were suggested there, and then advice that's come through from Reckles and Kraken Latte and any other people that they find. Oh, you're hearing the washing machine as well. Okay, Jack, hold on. Let me see if I can close that door for you. There we go. I'm going to lift off. That must be very loud because I'm right up on the top floor and that's at the bottom. There we go. It's gone now. Excellent. I do apologise. I didn't realise that came through on the microphone. There we go. Thought about making a video about how you made your gold so quick without putting loads of hours in. Wasn't sure if you should. I think it's always an interesting perspective, Edwards. What else did I miss there? Got through everything. There we go. I think that should be fine. Right, so yes, this was so too late for the long boy. It was very interesting. How does someone who's got no experience with gold making approach something like this? And it was very interesting seeing their thought process through on this. And it's one to follow because I think it's interesting to see, to get under the mind of someone who doesn't make gold, because these are our customers at the end of the day. And so it's interesting to learn how they think. So this is definitely one to look out for, and the things they're doing is basically there's another thread on Reddit about talking about a similar thing using the Brutal calculator, what they're doing, like farming, trying to flip things, or even buying tokens if they really have to. Don't be too enthusiastic, else they will flood the glyph market. Yes, well, that is the kind of the pros and cons of sharing any of your methodologies, is that other people will try it themselves, certainly. Game Cat, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. So basically, yes, they're going through farming things, flipping things. This is kind of like thinking ahead. How can they make more gold when they don't have a lot of time to spend? So there's an interesting thread here, just going through a few different things. I mean, obviously, flipping is a market that you can spend less time on but get good profits, but it's not very reliable unless you know your markets particularly well. So it's something I would always sort of recommend sort of having a look at and learning as you go, but don't risk a lot of your gold on it. As in, he's a new, if he's new, he will lose just flipping things. That's interesting, Will. It's an interesting take on it. The way I followed a lot of the advice, I didn't necessarily find the responses on it, but it's interesting that if you're going to post on Reddit, I think it's always, Reddit's a great place for hearing advice, whether you want it or not, and I think a wise person certainly listens with open ears and understanding. It's going to be a hit, definitely, Game Cat Can. You like flipping and may design a flipping shuffle. I think it's a great idea, can be something. I would like to get into it a bit more myself, into just commodities really, more than BOEs, because I don't understand BOEs as much as I understand commodities, and seeing the value on my server, I think I could certainly look at the prices of a few things and see if I can tweak those. To be more successful than most YouTube fake gold makers per hour clickbait videos. They all get their Brutal at the end of the expansion, and I just don't have videos for all the BFA expansion, but you did it on a small amount of time and not being a scammer. So go ahead, absolutely. If it's honest advice, it always goes well with the viewer, certainly. So 1,000 to 5,000 to a new character. See how you get on. Find you have more gold after a week, then you invest more. Yeah, I think that's a very sensible thing to do, McBain, is basically just limit yourself to a certain amount that you can afford to lose, and then build it on from there. Has anyone formed business relationships with farmers, i.e. you pay someone maybe 1 gold cheaper than the auction house for you to turn to something for greater profit? I think so, Riperia. I think a lot of people will excuse me, they will contact their local farmer and see if they can get a trade chat price, as it was. I love that, Edwards. I love these swindly arms. That's just about right, I'd say. You need to know your markets and materials, and at the end of the expansion, markets are trending downwards. They are, certainly. That's a good point, Will, is it's very hard to actually push them higher at this stage. In Legion, you're buying 1 to 1 gold 50 the Shroud of Rice. So yeah, I remember those days as well. I wish I'd overstocked on those, and I've got a feeling tie spray linen is going to be the same. I want to keep hold of, because tie spray linen is so versatile into turning it into other things. I think it would be very useful to keep a good stock of that towards the end of expansion. I'm gonna pet this Brutus. Very nice, Drizzling Rose. Did you manage to sort out what you're going to do with your boyfriend in the black market. Was it what was the item it was you were going to get instead? I can't remember now. Do you have any recommendations to what BFA goodies to stock for Shadowlands? If I was going to stock something, I think it would probably be something of the stuff that's heavily farmed now that we may want to keep hold of for later. Things like tie spray linen or some of the herbs perhaps, because I think their prices will hit an all-time low now, and then when people aren't farming them so much, the prices will probably go up a little bit more. It's part of why you gave up on the Longboy at 4 million out of 5. They decided that purchasing a WoW token at its lowest price in 3 years to sell again later or to use for free game time was better than the Longboy. Exactly, it's all down to what's more value to you, and just having that much game time is a big, massive draw, certainly. On the black market, something like that, Jack, I think. Something you've thought about is how much pigment you should make before Shadowlands, because you don't know what happens with BFA herbs. They've been making gold into an expansion. It's an interesting one, Edwards. I didn't really concern myself too much with stockpiling when it came to BFA after Legion, which was my first expansion of proper gold making. And so in BFA, I literally just focused on current content and went from that one. Currently 4 million bought you 33 months of free game time. That's very nice, very nice. The shell drive was so low thanks to the shoulders enchantment and the blood of Sargeras. Yeah. Jack's recommendation for what to stock at this point in Legion was Marks of Honor. Well, that was a good call, certainly. Yeah, the silk pant shuffle was definitely a good one. Quite a lot now at 197 to 2 gods. So I think he can drop when people stop buying them. It tends to get quite a lot now at 1.97. So you think it can drop when people stop buying them. It might do, and then you might be able to pick up a few more that you can just keep a good stock of, certainly. Wait till the next AI comp stomp brawl to farm the marks. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing the same myself. If I can have another 110 or 2 by then, I'll definitely be interested in that. So let's just go on and finish up the Wowhead blog. So talking about different ways as a sort of like a beginning player, what you could farm, whether you could flip, and whether you should even go for the Brutosaur if you're not bothering anymore, like others have said on the stream. You know, others will say, actually, you know what, I'm not going to go for the Longboy. Other things are more important to me, and it's always important to remember to enjoy your time in World of Warcraft. And if grinding out all of this gold is not for you, then quite feasibly set a different goal. Do something else in the game that's a lot more fun for you. No one's forcing you to play it a certain way. And this whole fear of missing out thing isn't really going to be an issue, because it will be still available on the black market auction house if you really want to get it. Bruto grinding stopped being fun for you, so you stopped. Less stressful, etc. Exactly as Gwyn said. Basically, if it's basically just too much stress and not enjoyment, then there's really not. I don't see any point in doing it. Certainly. I wonder if Blizz is just rethinking retiring it to come out with a new auction house mount. Have they said anything about that? Nothing about a new mount, certainly. I know it's rumours around that there's going to be another gold sink, but I have no idea what that might be, certainly. So you saved up your 5 million gold over the past 3 months to give your boyfriend a Brutosaur for your 6-year anniversary. Even made the hotkey icon to give him. But he said, oh wow, that's nice, but I don't think I like the Brutosaur as much as you like it. And we agreed he could get some Warhammer 40k instead. But then later that day, he was talking about some friends, and he told me he would like it was the Dreadnought shoulders. That was it. So we can have them for $1 million or 2. I think that's a lovely compromise and a lovely sort of openness about saying, you know what, the Brutosaur isn't necessarily for me, but you know what I'd really like is something like this. And you can never go wrong with some 40k stuff thrown in as well. Yeah, it's still going on the black market auction house, so I don't see them doing another auction house mount. No, I mean, I spoke about it before, how I would love to see a new profession, like the carpentry profession, and then I'd like it to put a wagon on the back of my Brutosaur mount. But that's another time, certainly. The money you can make for the first months of expansion with 5 million, you can probably turn that into 10 million without too much hassle. If you can invest in it early and you know what you're doing, Totems, definitely. You have 3 million gold, you don't know what to do with it. You're taking donations, or making sure that you've got all your other Heroes of the Storm stuff sorted. I think that's a win-win in any day, certainly. So the last thing going on here was basically another Kraken Latte video, another sort of recap on her 5 million gold conversation that she started way back at the beginning of the first video I saw of hers about how she got her Brutosaur. So that if you still are determined to get yours, there's lots of really sound advice in this video. Even if you don't want to get the Brutosaur and you just want to expand your gold making, I would highly recommend this video. Falkers, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. So you spent 3 million on Heroes gems yesterday, so now you have all legendary skins in Heroes. Just need a few epic skins. You can have all the items, everything besides some hotkey items you need to wait for to buy. But that's pretty good. Definitely a win-win. Went from 50k on your Shaman to 2.5 million from the first week just by crafting Dark Moon cards. Yeah, I missed out on the Dark Moon cards, but I did hear it was pretty good. TX Tyson, thank you also for the follow. Oh, holiday items, not hokey items. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head there, Edwards, with Kraken's videos. They're really well thought out and so light-hearted and basically, but full of information. So I think it's easy to see why her videos are so popular at the moment. Never forgive myself for not getting Luna Jaina. What I must do due to being Draenor, but 40 hours to clear all those raids. Yeah, it's a lot. It's Blink TV. It is a lot to do. Lots and lots of raids. It's not something for me, certainly. Check a clip that you streamed 2 days ago about the botters in Isle of Thunder. Want some advice on what to do on those? I think it's about creating a new post on Blizzard forums. Really don't know what I should do. Okay, I'm more than happy if you want to either PM me directly, Metcat, or pop on my Discord, or anyway, I don't mind. But that pretty much wraps up the Wowhead blog for this week. I hope there was some interesting stuff in there for you. Certainly was some good topics this week. So I would, if you do have any suggestions or anything else you want to comment about on here, please do put a comment in below. I'd love to hear what you think. Gold well spent. Already updating. Spent 2.5 million for the Super Deluxe version of COD. Played it for 2 hours in total. Well, Jack, that's no different to me buying the Warcraft 3. The Warcraft 3 reforged, and I literally have not played it at all. The most I've used out of Warcraft 3 reforged is actually the meat wagon mount that I managed to get with this one. Warcraft 3 refund. Yeah, I think a lot of people did go for that refund. I decided to keep hold of it because I never know when the fancy might take me, and I'll go and get the I'll go through the single player campaign. I'm not too much interested in the multiplayer anyway. I think I'll just Hearthstone back to the Snug Harbour Inn from here. Your gold now is to save up a gold cap for Shadowlands, and then you'll get your Battle.net balance capped at €250. I think that's a pretty good next target to go for, certainly. Let's go. Actually, I've got my my window's a bit small. Let's make that a little bit bigger now. There we go. Now that we can fit everything in. Also spent 3 million on Hearthstone cards. That's fair enough as well. I know a lot of people do buy a lot of Hearthstone cards with their the Battle.net balance. Do I have Shadowlands Alpha? I do not. The only Alpha I have at the moment is TSM Alpha, which I'm very happy about having, because that for me at this stage of the game is more important. But I would like to find the Shadowlands Professions. Once they come out, I would love to dive into those, because they look really good. TSM Group Maker is a lifesaver. It is definitely. There's so many quality of life changes with the TSM 4.10 at the moment. I mean, just something like this, for example. The mailing the mailing interface here. So at the moment it says open all mail, which is the default now. If I hold control down, then that will toggle the change from open all mail to open all mail without money, which is what I want to do in this case. And so I can click that and just literally let everything run through. I've got a lot of things I need to sort out on my bags here, so I'll probably just clear some of that out. Let this run through. Running a little bit slow here in Borealis at the moment. I might have to go over to Dalaran, clear out my bags a little bit and my bank from the looks of things, and then we can post this on properly. In fact, you know what I might do is I might go to Stormwind, because that will be even faster. So I'm going to close this down and I'm going to head over to Stormwind. So let's just pop in here, and then we can go around here to the Dwarven District. So it's nice and quiet over there. Zakala, thank you very much for your resub. That's so kind of you. Thank you for your support. Very much appreciated. A whole load of emotes for you. Thank you very much indeed. Is scanning on the TSM 4.10 any faster than previously? Yes, it does seem faster, certainly. And the Dyer coming with your Twitch Prime for 7 months. Oh, that's brilliant. Happy gold stream indeed. Lovely to have you here. Thank you very much for your support. And I have a whole load of emotes for you. Thank you so much. Alright, let's move ourselves over to the Dwarven District. I guess Dalaran is slightly better in the fact that getting into the guild bank is better. But I do like the Dwarven District as a place to park myself. How do you install the 4.10 version, please? It's not publicly available yet, but if you do want to sign up for the beta when it does come out, you can either get TSM Premium and you'll automatically get priority access that way, or there is an option for the to sign up for beta as well. Now, where are my commands when I need them? It's TSM is the link there. That's the link if you want to sign up for Premium, and that's an affiliate link for myself. And then we've got now, what was it? Was it TSM Alpha? TSM Beta it was. That's the link to the changelog, which gives you a link to how to sign up for the beta if you want to get into the TSM Beta that way. What did I miss? There's loads of stuff came through the chat there. Thank you so much for getting you into making gold professions. Earlier this week you reached your first goal of mastering all your professions. What have we got here? Let's have a look. And just wait for that to come through. Oh, my internet's being a little bit slow. Hopefully it will come through in a moment. Just let that run through. Scroll that down. For the moment. There we go. What else did I miss? Oh, there it is. It's come through almost. That is. Oh, I see. That is a lot of professions. I like that. That's a lot of maxed out professions. Very nice indeed. That's how you do professions, basically. Kill-Off, how are you? Came back to look while you farm. Hope I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, thank you very much. Lovely to have you here. Sorry if I missed anyone on the chat whilst I was going through that. I'm just literally going to go through and post on all my auctions whilst we're here. So I'll run a post scan on everything, and then we can open up my mail and have a look at my look at my gold over the past week. Now you can make gold only with the profession, so no more farming for you. That's the position I think I would like to be in mainly, is focusing on. I mean, I've always focused on professions anyway, because it's my preferred way of making gold. But I would like to have all professions. I'm not quite there. I'd like to have all professions, both wide and deep, and that way I've got all bases covered. And then collecting up recipes would be the next thing. I'd love to do that. Would be my next long-term goal. Certainly. I'll just go through and post everything on now. Everything's expired, so I'm literally going to throw everything on at my my normal prices. So talking of baiting earlier, I may well get caught out on some of these because I don't pay attention to a lot of my prices, but I tend to trust in my TSM settings for the moment anyway. I've got a few things I need to sell actually, so let me just bring up the Brutosaur and sell some of the junk whilst I'm here, and some of this needs to go into the bank as well, so let's go sort that out whilst I'm here. Just increase my bag space and then we'll be able to sort that out. Let's just go to the banker first, /TSM put tide, and missed Touch Linen Net there, and /TSM put Nile for the nylon thread. We'll just take those out, and probably need to go to the reagent bank as well actually. Deposit anything that's spare here, which is a few bits and pieces, which should leave me a little bit more bag space. 92. Anything else? I've got a fair few bits of items and armour here that I probably need to disenchant or sell. I probably won't go through those yet. I'll just have a look and see where things are on that front. Let's run through this way. I buy all my stuff on the auction house more than farming them myself, certainly. What did I miss? Lots of Mashup Splitters IPs like BlizzCon the game. Oh, that's the heroes, yeah. Saravok, good evening to you. What's the green dot next to the name of the items? That's basically a colour code for, if we just open up some more mail, I'll post some on, we can have a look at that. So let's open All Without Money again. Let's go through that. Gibson, what's my thoughts on having a dedicated auction character opposed to doing all the auctions separately on each profession character? I know a lot of people do that. I personally don't do it out of preference to just the way I have mine set up. I like to think of each character making their own gold, and I monitor their gold on a per character basis. It helps me sort of keep an eye on how much gold each character is making. But I know a lot of people do like to have a bank character instead to keep it all in one place. It's all down to personal preference more than anything else. Good evening, Natty. Lovely to have you here. Did I miss anything else? Looking up again to Alpha to go to the launch event. Stop playing Pursuit University, that's fair enough. I'm doing very well, thank you, Natty. How about yourself? So yes, the green icon here matches the colour of the icon here with undercutting competition. So if I scroll down to things like maximum amount already posted, which is blue, or below minimum price, which is orange here. So you can, in TSM 4.10, you can hide either the info window like that, or you could hide the icon. It's up to you basically, it's down to personal preference, and then that way that will give you more room to expand these a little bit more, and then you can just look at this with the color code, or if you don't like the color code you can turn that off, and then you can turn on the info instead, and then you can have that instead. It's all down to personal preference more than anything else. I quite like it with both at the moment. I'm keeping everything on default as much as possible, just so that I can bug test things like that. But let's go post this lot on. I'll get all that on and we'll run through and we'll check our gold at the end. Prepping 2 Demon Hunters for Shadowlands, loading them now on different servers, and I'll transfer them when the time comes. I heard a lot of people getting their Demon Hunters ready. I don't think I'll bother myself. I kind of like the I like Demon Hunters, but I don't want to have a whole a whole group of them. Do I flip battle pets? No, that's not a market. I did try it once, but it wasn't a market that really appealed to me, so I kind of missed on that one. Pioneer, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Cash and credit, good evening to you. What's my average daily gold revenue? So if we can look at the new TSM 4.10 graph, we can have a look here. This won't include this week's. So this is basically everything from BFA. So this was my beginning journey at the start of BFA, going through buying the Brutus Sword then, and then just casually earning gold after that, because I didn't have any specific goals, and I bought quite a few wild tokens and things in this time here, which is why my gold's gone down quite a amount. So if you look at this as total in terms of like for the past year, all characters and guilds, my average profit per day is 12,500 gold. In the sort of last month, that's quite a bit less. Actually, no, it's not too bad, actually. 11,000. So it's fairly steady profit per day. 11,000 per day. But then if we look at my graph for different characters, different ones have started at different stages. So my new ones being like Samadan has only recently gotten into gold making. So his gold is relatively new. And then we have a look at Sage Awakening, who's also doing a bit hit and miss with the alchemy, but in general doing quite well on that front. And how many hours of playtime per day? Well, I am pretty much most of my playing time happens whilst I'm streaming. So you're looking at sort of 3 hours 3 times a week. So that's 9 hours. Obviously, I'm streaming at the same time, so I'm talking through most of it and not doing a huge amount of gold making, but we do try. And then I probably pop on at least, I would say, every day, just to either do a quick gold maintenance, cancel scan, maybe for about half an hour. On average, I would say. There are some days I don't, like today and yesterday. This is the first time I've managed to get on, but other times I'll just pop on very early in the morning and just do a quick cancel scan and repost things on that front. So for me, I've got my profession set up, and so that's where I make most of my gold. Have we posted everything on? Yes, we have. Let's collect some more mail. Let's go through all without money. Starting to get to the bottom of our mail here, so we'll start to get to the gold for the week. Is there any way to track your expulsum tie spray expenses and profit over multiple toons? The way I used to do it was with the without money. Has that got everything, or am I missing something here? Looks like we might have gotten stuck. Let's just wait for the reload and see if that comes through. No, we'll have to do a reload UI, I think, on that. There we go. For a minute there, I didn't think that was going to come through. I'm quite bored of camping the auction house with a set of gold. No matter what, so the Brutus Sword will come. Foxhill's not the best farm for strictly speaking. Oh yes, sorry. Any way to track your expulsum tide spray expenses? So what I used to do was download my accounts for the month and assign anything where I bought tide spray or coarse leather, assign it to my enchanter character, and then I would count that as part of my expenses when it came to calculating my profit for enchanting. And that worked out quite well for me. Right, let's go through, we'll just take the expires here. That should be easy enough. Nearly got everything here. That's almost all of my gold, and then we'll post that lot on. I think that one's done already. Yes it is. We can delete that one. So that's the gold. We'll go through that in a moment once I've posted everything on. So let's run a post scan here. You missed the old monthly recap videos. I know, Drizzling Rose, I missed them myself. I didn't get round or didn't make enough time to do those this year, so I'll definitely get back onto that. I've got some other ideas as to what I'm going to do with the YouTube channel, some exciting things coming up, so I hope to be able to share those with you soon. Average 2 camel scans a day. How do you get on with that calcing? Depending on the day, you never miss your server. Wednesday to Friday are the best days, so you'll cancel 3 to 4 times each day and keep keeping stock on On your auction house that you max. Seems to be working really nicely. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of doing it. Enchant weapon Torrent of Elements sold for 329 gold. That's quite cheap. What's my crafting cost? 266. So that's not. Oh, Torrent of Elements. That reminds me. That's Expulsum, isn't it? Let me have a look. That was one of the ones from the Azeroth, Kaltiris, Borealis. So yes, it was. Work order, enchant weapon, Torrent of Elements. Let's just have a quick look at that, because we might be able to buy some up. Torrent of Elements. Okay, so how many have we got on? There are 13 on at 359. Perhaps we could push these prices up a little bit higher. 360 on that. So there's quite a few of them. They don't generally tend to sell. My personal sell rate is 0.18. Region sale rate is 0.25. They're already on at 359. The market value is at 295. So they've already been pushed up a little bit at the moment. So it's probably not worth me buying those out at that price. So I'll take the profits as they are on that, and I won't reset that market. But worth checking nonetheless, definitely. Okay, we've got that, so let's just post on all our other auctions. So we'll just run through that, get everything on at the moment. Extends your daily restocks by a couple of hours. Processing all of the tie spray linen. Tie spray linen I tend to keep as a second screen activity. So it's something I'll basically just put on the second screen and just leave the character crafting them. And then every now and again I'll just click scrap, and I'll go through and scrap them once I've done all my mailing operations and things like that. Oh, you can make a sky golem today. Oh, fantastic, Drizzling Rose. Is this your first one? Camel's always getting in my way. You hate doing it with Expulsum, but you like the barrier for entry. Yeah, I can understand the appeal, Edwards, because it's not for everyone. That's where you can make your money. Basically, is you're doing something that someone else doesn't want to do. But I would like to have seen it as a commodity that we can buy and sell. Therefore you could actually sell Expulsum, or at least pass it on to other characters. I would have really liked that, and I hope we have something like that in Shadowlands. Alright, let's go through, post everything on. We're obviously going to need to make a couple of Torrent of Elements for myself to get the Expulsum. We'll go through to that in a moment. So that's everything posted on. We might as well collect our gold whilst we're here. So we're looking at 66,000, not a huge mailbox for the week, to be honest. We do have a good mix of different sales here. We've got a Cord of Haste, a whole 15 of those, so that's a reset there. A couple of resets, a Cord of Critical Strike and Haste have been reset, so I'll probably have to restock on those. Bear Tartar, Quick Navigation, some Uncanny Satin Mittens there, quite a few of those, that's quite good. Netherweave Bags, some more food. Dubious Delight, we've sold 8 of those. Flying Carpet for 284, that's quite cheap. Frostweave Bags, some more Dubious Delights. Dubious Delight's doing very well, in fact, in terms of the new food. Spaceboy TG, thank you very much for the follow. A life in an auction house hawk is not a glamorous one, but sure worth it. You got your Sky Golem yesterday. Looking forward to getting the gathering for real. Yeah, Sky Golem is once you can get used to the flight, it's okay, definitely. It was reset for all of 2 hours, and someone crashed it hard. Oh right, was that the enchants, Harry Gamer? That is terrible for the flying carpet. What's my crafting cost on it? My crafting cost on it is pretty low. Let's have a look at the flying carpet. We can give that a little bit. 66,000 in total. We'll add that. That takes me back up to nearly 300,000. Yeah, I get dizzy on mine too. I managed to get used to the flight of it now, so it's not too bad. But we'll pick up all of our nice gold for 301,999 gold. So from looking at that, let's have a look at flying carpet whilst it's here in our thoughts. So let's search for flying, the regular flying carpet. I've got some other ones I can make here. So 277 profit. According to this, my crafting cost is 135 gold. Min buyout is currently 413. I don't get a huge amount of sale rate on these, 0.17. The region sale rate is 0.29. So the lowest I've sold them for is 284. So that was the cheapest. Average price is 1,000 gold. Most I've sold one for was 2,800. So yeah, it does look like 284 is my minimum there. That's still about 150 gold profit. So that's not too bad. Obviously I would like that higher. I could possibly have a look at that operation and just tweak it a little bit higher, but I'll leave it for the moment. What I will do though is just go through my other characters. We do need to do Expulsum here, so what I'll do is I'll come back to Samadan and do the Expulsum thing once we've opened the mail on everyone. Are bags based on your level? Deep sea bags are only worth 100 gold on your server. It's interesting. Deep sea bags historically have been a lot, even though they're the same capacity as hexweave bags, deep sea bags seem to be a lot less desirable than the hexweave bags. Someone always crashed the market of the flying carpet. It's a very specialist mount really to go for, really. So it doesn't. The problem you have with things like that don't cost a lot to make is that it's very easy. The same with rich purple silk shirts. Because they're so cheap to make, it's very easy for someone to just completely crash the market on them, because the materials are A, readily available, and B, cheap to make. Only advice you can give when you reset is prepare to either buy out, keep the price high, or try trade chat and undercut yourself for the last fast sale. Yeah, as Cromcake says, it's hard sometimes when people do crash them hard. Same as nearly all the glyphs. You have children. Right, so I'll leave Samadan for now. We'll come back for the Expulsum and the restocks on Samadan, because it's usually a little bit more complicated. And so we'll go through all our other characters. About the Veil Crystals, keep people from outcrafting you. Yeah, I mean, I don't tend to focus too much on the Veil Crystal price, because mine's been pretty much a lot cheaper. Here's my my transmog in all its glory. The only thing I'm not happy with here is the staff. It's about the best I've got in terms of a tentacly staff. But I'll jump onto Jawakening next. My Alchemist. I do believe I've still got a Silas proc. I've got a full 10 minutes on him, so I'll run through this quickly. I might miss out a little bit on chat as I go through this one. A few times on the server, normally take about a week or so if prices drop slowly. Veil Crystal price is sitting at 260. 260 is good. It has been as low as about 120, so that's pretty good. Someone had 34 posted at 60 gold. Bought them all. Yep, definitely. Right, yes, we do have 10 minutes left on here. So let's take the expires. We have a decent amount of gold in the mail as well, which is really nice. 48,000 at last count. Let's get all of the potions up though. Looks like I'm going to fill my bags up with this. The amount I've got here. Oh, it's not just potions. So let's just go through, post all of that lot on first. Then we can go through and do a restock on anything we might need. I was 94 the other day, someone reset the Veil Crystal market, then crashed the enchant market. That doesn't make sense. Prices of veiled on yours usually between 90 and 120. I think, yeah, 90 and 120 is about normal. For me, I think my actual matte price of Veil Crystals comes out at about 70 gold using the Bracer Shuffle. So with those posted on, I forgot to check my auctions. Let's have a look at those and then have a look if we need to restock on any of these. Don't have anything at the moment actually, so we must have enough. So let's just check in case we do happen to have another Silas prop. Not that we need it at the moment. No, transportation. We'll do our... Oh, we're missing some star moss for our daily cooldown. Let's just have a look at that. Are we missing anything else? Star moss, sea stalk, and riverbird, and siren's pollen. Okay, well, we do need to buy some herbs. So let's run through this. I'll do this quickly. I know I'm missing a couple of things on chat, but I'll go through this quickly. just because I need to buy a few things. So we've got Zenith at a very cheap price there at 15 gold. Is that one someone trying to bait it lower? Let's have a look. Yeah, 15 gold, and then it goes to 22 gold. So I will take the 15 gold. Thank you very much. And we'll snap those up. Now, what was I missing in terms of herbs? We needed Riverbud and Star Moss. So let's have a look. Star Moss is here at 735. We'll buy those at, probably just buy the 114. Let's buy 500 of those for the moment. We'll buy those up, and Riverbud is an okay price as well, so we'll take those. Probably take up to it jumps up to 789 there, so we'll take, again, I'll take maybe 400 of those and buy those. That leaves me with Siren's Pollen and Sea Stalk I'd need to look at next. Siren's Pollen's looking good, we'll take those. Siren's Pollen, again, I'll take another 500. Buy the commodity, and what was the other one? Was it Sea Stalk? I think it was. So that's at 5 gold, so I'll take those that are at exactly 5 gold. Maybe even those that are at 525. So again, I'll take another 500 just to give myself some stock for the moment. And then we'll pick up those purchases so I can do my transmute. I'm just running through this quite quickly at the moment rather than looking at chat, because I can see I've got 7 minutes left. So I want to make sure this is all done. We'll do our transmute, and then we'll do our herbs to anchors. We'll open those up, and then I think that's everything done. So we'll leave that and log out, and then I'll catch up on chat. There we go. What did I miss? Lots of stuff. Okay. Gonna do that one. That's that one. Sent the last 2 million to your main yesterday as well, since you don't need to hide them from your boyfriend on the alt anymore. That was the most nervous you've ever been about spelling a name correctly in WoW Mail. Yeah, I can imagine, Drizzling Rose. I was meaning to ask if I ever used iPad Pro for painting or texturing. No, I haven't, Edwards. I mean, I've used a Wacom Companion, and that is absolutely fantastic for doing the same thing. What nuance? You got the older one. You've been using it to paint over textures for models. Really nice. Oh, fantastic. I know a lot of people use Procreate for sketching and things like that. It looks really nice. 60 to 70 to craft, but no one's going to buy Velcrystal at 260 to craft and chance that are around 600 to 700. No, exactly. Any update on TSM Destroy in the new version? Yours never worked. This one, I can happily say, Samurai has worked flawlessly for me, all in 4.10. Really need to learn how to use TSM properly. Oh, well, I do have a guide for that, Mage on Fire. You're more than welcome to take a look at my YouTube series. Even though it's on TSM 4 beta, it's still relevant, even though 4.10 is around the corner. Riverbud for 3 gold each. Wow. It does, Saravok, it does look really nice. Let's just go into Samadan whilst I'm going through the chat here. There we go. Use paint or GIMP. I play on a mid pop and full pop's really interesting to see the differences. Full pop end product always sells. So that's true. Well, you do get more sales on a full pop. I'd be interested to try out a full pop. Use it for meetings like paintovers for art. That's a nice idea, actually. Yeah. TSM does not know how decimal works. I got confused when it first came out. I was saying, TSM 4.1, and Gumdrop said, no, it's 4.10, and I was like, oh right, okay. Oh, I'm tiny, and I'm also extremely red. Is that because my corruption level is extremely high? I think it probably is. It's at 90. Yes, that's probably quite bad. We did try that earlier, didn't we? Last time on the stream, I remember now. Is Sadamas, do you mean Nadamas, the Horde one? Is Nadamas, yes. Nadamas is on the same server on Shadowsong. I don't really tend to play him that much other than doing a quick alchemy cooldown. Is GIMP actually decent? I haven't tried it in years, Jack. But if you want a free version of Photoshop, I would recommend if you can get hold of a free version of Krita. That's Krita. That's a very good Photoshop alternative, certainly. I wouldn't recommend that much. No, I think I'm definitely over corrupted here. I'm not sure the exact phrasing on it. Time for a Mythic 15. Yeah, as a with a 90 corruption, that could be bad. It's this like this. That's Krita. Krita. That I would recommend. I can't remember. There was a version of it available on Steam, but I can't remember if that's still available. But yes, it's a good Photoshop alternative, especially if you're into sort of more layers and sketching and things like that. Ghost iron bars are 25 gold each. Is that a lot? The bars, now let me think. I can't remember what they were for me on this. What's average for me? Let's have a look. Let's just pop onto the Brutosaur, move back a bit. Ghost iron. Let's have a look. So Ghost iron bars currently at 13 gold. Now my crafting cost is based on my ghost iron ore, which I usually farm for myself. It has a map cost for me at the moment 590. So ghost iron bar, which is 2 ghost iron ores, should be twice that. So it all depends on the price of your ghost iron ore. Need 18 more living steel. Okay. So I guess the easy way is to go through and do the whole start with a ghost iron ore and certainly not the ghost iron nuggets. Look at that, 3,000 gold. That's very expensive. Convert 10 nuggets into 1 ore, and the ore is 15 gold. The nuggets are 3,800 gold. You don't have anyone who could smelt. It's handy to have, Justin Rose. El Norte used to be my alchemist and my transmute alchemist and my miner, and it was a really good combination for the riddle of steel, definitely. Spirits is 99. That's a good price for the Spirits of Harmony. Spirit of, let's do that. Of Harmony. I've got absolutely loads on the. Yeah, 80 gold at the moment. They used to be up at 200 gold, so that is a lot cheaper. I've got 3,000 of them. I've got 2,000 left at 96 gold. My average purchase price, my smart average buy price, is actually 69 gold. So that's worth looking at, certainly. Might just be worth it to buy the steel. Do you have any leveling tips so you can get to current crafting? Hekios, I would recommend the free add-on Azeroth Autopilot. That will guide you through the leveling process if you want to just follow something that will just tell you where to go. Other than that, if you've got heirlooms, make sure you have those, and if you can get hold of any buffs that are out at the time, like the Dark Moon Fair, that's also useful. A few months back, people might be dropping their stock, possibly worth buying now. Was that the one where you went through the phased instance where all the hound things started running towards you? It might be worth buying those at that price, though. I would be tempted to. Region average is 74. I mean, I've already got a fair few on me. I don't tend to do the living steel thing anymore. Maybe I need to look at that a little bit more detail. I won't do it just yet. I'll carry on for the moment. I'm going to go and post all my auctions on first. Can we get some sort of referral code for the stream? You're in a low pop new player server and sent a good amount of people to the stream. Thinking equity or something. That's a nice idea, Edwards. I'm not sure how I would be able to ratify that, but it's a good idea. There may be a new farm that you don't know of. Yeah, I'm not sure. I do remember the one that was, I think, that did get nerfed, certainly. Engineering is the only craft I don't have. Yes, it's on my list as well. It's probably also last on my list, but I do want to have both forms, or COD, either of those, or Warcraft 3 Reforged. Any of those aren't necessarily great investments. So we've got some sales here, not a huge amount on inscription because I haven't entered the glyph market like Edwards, but we do have some war scrolls, highborn compendiums, and some contracts, Tomes of the Quiet Minds, so a good little mix of things here, 13,000. So we're up to 132,000 gold on this character, so that's a decent amount. Let me just check for restocking on you whilst we're here, check my contracts and everything there, and then we'll go back to TSM and we'll have a look at my restock. So we've got War Scrolls of Battle Shout and 2 Highborn Compendiums. So we'll go to my gathering. I need to get a decent amount of distilled water, some ultramarine, some crimson ink, and some crimson pigment as well. So I'll have to sort of mill some herbs. We'll have a look at that. Olam, thank you very much for the follow. So let's use our task list for this. This hasn't been updated with 4.10 yet. So this is very much still the original 4.9 version, but we'll go through and have a look. We'll get some ultramarine from the guild bank, that's a good start. Not sure why I've got some there anyway. And then distilled water and light parchment. I might as well go to my vendor for those. Now, interesting, it's saying buy the crimson pigment from the auction house. I wonder why that is. Oops, I can't fly. That's the problem with the Sky Golem. You just can't go into confined spaces. So we'll go here, and I've automatically sold my junk, which is nice. So we'll just buy what we need here. And then we've got crimson pigment. Let's have a look. Crimson pigment. What's the price of it on the auction house? There's a reason why TSM is asking me. It could be based on what it's last looked at. So crimson pigment, that's telling me here 203 gold. So maybe it was my mat cost is 17. So I don't think that's valid anymore. It was an hour ago that it was last scanned. So perhaps TSM was looking at a previous version that had crimson pigment up cheaply. So we'll craft it our normal way with inscription. So let's just go through and let's just use the standard one for the moment. So we need to mass mill some stuff because we need some crimson pigment. So we'll go through, mass mill some riverbud. We'll do that. Might as well use what we've got stock on at the moment. Just get rid of some of these small amounts. Now, have I got the right crafting gloves on? Let me just check. Or have I got my herbalism gloves? No, we do have our crafting gloves on. That's good. That's why my corruption is so high. Oh no, wrong one. I just milled some anchorweed. Whoops! What a mistake to make. I need to move that. Let's move that to my favourites so I don't make that mistake again. There we go. And let's do that on the sea stalk instead. Terrible mistake to make, milling your anchorweed. It should never be a thing. We occasionally spend 80k on spirits every now and again. Got Shadow Elves, so are completely different. Now I'm even using a junk seller. Too much change. I know, Commander Bond. I've got D-Junk as a way to sell my automatically sell all my junk, which is a lot easier. Cheap uncanny sword. Anyone EU Shadow Zone who can craft me a cheap uncanny sword and uncanny shield. I could certainly do that, Silent Mouse. And when I move over. Had a stack of anchorweed, started milling herbs and went AFK getting water, came back and realised all your anchorweed was gone. Oh, luckily I just caught it on the one, but I feel your pain. More times than you want to admit. I know, having it there in the list does make it difficult. I've moved it to my favourite, so hopefully we'll miss that one. We won't get that one again. So, just ask 10k per piece. No problem, Simon. I'll give them to you for crafting cost. No worries about that. Are you after anything in particular? I'll just go through. Why am I coming around to my mail? because I've forgotten what I was doing. I was looking at inscription, I was making my ink, then we were going through our list and our gathering, and we still need some crimson, and we need some ultramarine ink as well. Okay, so let's just bring out the task list again. That's the trouble when you don't remember what you're doing. Crimson ink, let's just make 10 of these for the moment. Oh no, crimson ink we need 120. We can make 116, so we need a little bit more of our pigment, which means that what we will do here is we'll buy some more herbs at the cheapest price possible. So we'll go through here and run a shopping scan on our herbs. Now obviously we bought some up as Awakening, but here we're just looking for milling price, so we're going for the cheapest possible. 525 is the cheapest at Sea Stalk, so we will buy those. Probably I'm going to take the 530 ones as well, so we'll buy all of those in one go. I'm also going to take the Siren's Pollen and buy out those at 550. I'll take all of those, and that should give me plenty for the moment. There we go, and then we'll collect those up from our purchases. There we go. So getting our cheap herbs is always good, and then we'll go through. Couldn't bring yourself to have a mills in with it. It's just worth too much as either flask or selling it outright. That's fair enough. Although I try and mix them up as much as I can. So we've also got Switch to Awakening here. So we also need to just have a look at what we need to mill here. A little Lee Dragon. Thank you very much for the follow. Sorry if I let's just go through, and so mass mill. We'll do some mass milling here with the Sea Stalk. That should give us enough for the moment. I can mass mill the rest of those later. And then ultramarine ink, we need 45, so we'll take 45 of those. We'll create those, and then the crimson ink is 120, so this shouldn't take me too long to go through, hopefully. And then it'll give me a chance to catch up on chat, because I know I've missed out a load of stuff. I do apologise if I've missed any of your comments so far. Too busy going through my routine of making gold. Right, so we still need another 29 according to that of ultramarine. Let's try another 30 just to make sure. Do it once again with vigour. We'll need some more distilled water. I might need to buy a stack or two of that one. Actually, use your scribe, just sell your anchorweed. You just sell your anchorweed these days. I mean, anchorweed selling is still really really worth doing, especially if you can get your herbs at a decent price. Card stats, 6 months edition. You have now flipped Cards of Omens for 6 months, and so far I've opened 361,000 cards. Total gold of 1.7. Is that 1.7 million? Yes, it is, isn't it? Average is down to 5 silver from last week, 4.89 per card. That's still very, very nice, Drizzling Rose. Okay, we need some more distilled water. So let's take our crimson ink, and we'll create all of those, and then we'll go and get one more distilled water, and we'll be done with that. But that's very nice, Drizzling Rose. Very nice indeed. It's a great consistent gold maker of yours. If you haven't checked out the Wowhead blog and Drizzling Rose's Myriad board, I would highly recommend it. Feel free to post a link to your board, Drizzling Rose, so other people can have a look at your methods. Be so kind to make a huge screenshot of a auction operation screen where you put in the posting time and price sources after the screen. Huge screenshot of the auction operation screen where you put in the posting time and price sources. Posting time. I'll write that down, Jack. I won't be able to do it tonight, but I'll write that down. Or remind me on Discord, and I'll do it for you. Let me just look. So where are we at? 20, 25. Jack. There we go. Starting to dread the amount of card of omens you need to craft. That is quite a lot, certainly. But I guess as long as you've got your controller set up and everything, and you're all sorted, I think it's a very enjoyable method, certainly. There we go. Drizzling Rose has a link of the Myra board where she's gone through all the details of what you need to do with the cards of omens. It's really worth having a look at if you're interested in making gold that way. Philipek33, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're doing well this lovely evening. Right, we're nearly done on our crimson ink. We just need to get one more distilled water. I'll actually buy a stack or two of that, and then we'll have enough for the moment. No point just buying one when we can buy several. I'll go over to the vendor because it'll be cheaper to do it over there rather than my Brutusol. So almost done here. Right, okay, so let's move on over. Here, because the alchemy videos, you're my guide. Oh, I'm so glad you found them useful. Lovely to have you here. If you do have any questions, please do ask away. We're just currently restocking on things at the moment. I'm going to use the standard interface because that means I can use my buy 'em all. I'm hoping that they're going to integrate this into TSM 4.10 because it's definitely useful being able to buy stacks like this. And the same with light parchment. I'll buy a couple of stacks of those as well, so that I've got those to hand when I need them. And then we will go through and make one more crimson ink. I can make 24, so I'll just create all of those whilst I'm here. How do you get the Philosopher's Stone in Alchemy? You can use any of the previous expansion ones. You don't necessarily have to use the latest one, whichever one's just easiest for you to craft. Basically, I found the Wall of Sodraenor one quite easy to craft. Just another gold stream. It doesn't make thousands at the time, but it's easy gold. Exactly as Calquing said, it's another string to your bow, certainly. There we go. There we go. Let's go over. Actually, we don't need to go over that. We need to get our Brutusol. Oh, we don't. We don't even need to do that. We need to craft our things. Swapping mounts like anything's any business here. Right. We'll go through this, and then I can go through onto my other characters and get to blacksmithing eventually. We'll just run through this. We'll make our war scrolls and our highborn compendiums of sundering. We'll get that lot done. Get that posted on. Run through our characters. Okay, so that's done, and we will... Oh no, we need to post those on. I'm forgetting my brain tonight. Let's go through and do this, and we'll post that lot on. Sundering and War Scrolls, those can go on, and then we'll jump out of this character and onto the next character, which will be Earthen, my leather worker. We'll just deal with our expires here, deal with our gold as well. Don't unfair trinkets and how insane they were at the start of the expansion. Are they a thing every new expansion? I don't know, Edwards. I know the decks were really popular at the beginning of BFA. I don't know if that's a consistent thing or not. Right, okay, let's deal with all my expires. Should be a simple, just relist everything on. 17th and Silas quest complete. Only the stone is missing. Right. Search for a trinket you can craft with alchemy, and you should get one that it will say in the text also counts as a philosopher's stone. With an alt, you have 11 set up for back in mob, and there was a full of the cloth plants, and you got a rush of nostalgia and went back to college. Full of the cloth plants. What's the cloth plants? Has been so far with every expansion. Okay, that's good to know then, Cromcake. We'll have a look at that on when it comes to Shadowlands, what I can do, because this will be the first time I've got a character with inscription. So that's all our stuff taken off. Looking at the sales for this week, not a huge amount for leatherworking. Some Drums of Fury in there, and some uncanny gear, and a couple of coarse leather bits and pieces. 9,000 gold, so not a huge amount, taking us to just under 250,000. So that's fine. We'll go through, and that can at least be added to our gold amount, certainly. What do I think the best professions for gold? Whichever one you enjoy the most, first and foremost. But if you're looking at gold, they all have their different strengths on different servers at different times of the expansion. Currently I'm finding blacksmithing to be really good fun, and alchemy is very hit and miss, but when it does hit, it's very good money. Enchanting is a bit of a slog at the moment. The profit margins are tight, but I've got a good depth in my enchanting and in my tailoring, and that way I get to get sales throughout all expansions, and that's where professions really start to shine. Farm is a place where you can plant seeds on a daily reset plants. Oh, that farm! Oh yes, yes, we did that on Awakening. Yes, that's great, that farm. I went there recently when me and my wife were levelling up, and I went and I told her all about the farm, and she wasn't as impressed as I was when I did it. Nothing to see here. There you go. There's Edward's take on Inscription. That takes time. You leave it up 48 hours. Most of the stuff sells for 200 to 1,000 gold. Ollie Allspanner, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Just going through my auctions at the moment. I keep forgetting to check them before I then go and restock. So I'll go and do that one. And then we'll go to leatherworking. I really should position all my professions on the same window. That confuses me every time. Okay, so we've got some Drums of Fury to make and some Uncanny Combatants leather arm guards. We need some raw beast hide, so let's just have a look at the raw beast hide price. I hadn't been making these because the raw beast hide price had been too high and I couldn't be bothered to go and farm it. So let's just have a look here. 3 gold 30. That's acceptable for my drums price, so I'll buy out. We can take the 3 gold 44. You know what? I'm going to take them all and be done with it. That will be easier. We'll take all of those and we'll collect those up. And that will be done. Same with blacksmithing. Nothing to see here, exactly. Yeah, that's very much the case, isn't it? And then we'll go and make our drums. So we'll craft those. We'll craft our drums. So 4,000 profit on this. Potential little bit of profit on the Uncanny Combatants leather arm guards, depending on which variety I get and whether I manage to sell it at that price. Currently at 283 gold. What's my crafting cost on the leather arm guards? 316. Oh, 283 profit, 600 minimum price. There we go. That makes more sense. For a minute then I thought I was going to make those at a loss. Still doing the Drums of Fury, so I'll let that tick through. And Zeus, thank you very much for the follow. Lovely to have you here. Something I found out on being in this community, all the professions have people using them to really nice success. Why only the arm guards? Because I've got a full stock of everything else. I have at least 5 of each of everything on there. So the Uncanny Arm Guards are I've just sold one of those recently since my last restock. So that's all that TSM's telling me to craft. I do have, or I should have, 5 of everything on the auction house. Yeah, I've got 5 gauntlets on the auction house, 5 leggings on the auction house, 5 treads. Yeah, so we've got pretty much everything there. Let those drums go through. I'm just going to open the door again because it's getting a little bit hot in here. I need some airflow. Now that the washing machine stopped, and hopefully we'll get a cookie in here at some point. Be nice to see. Right, how are we doing? We've still got 50 left to make on the Drums of Fury. And then we'll move on over. Seems to be going relatively slowly, but still ticking through. Might be a lag issue, being here in Borealis. Let me just move my quest things around a little bit, because I need to just organise this a little bit better. Let's move that up a little bit higher and then out a little bit wider. Then I can put my damage done below there. That should be fine, just removing my windows and everything. Not in my living room, not at the moment, Ollie Oilspanner, not since I've been working from home. So I've actually moved upstairs to the top floor of the house. So it's quite a bit hotter up here. We don't have the benefit of Oreo, sadly, because he likes to be on the rug next to me downstairs, and he doesn't tend to jump up on the desk. Cookie will occasionally come up and say hello. But then if I do end up moving back downstairs, we're currently redecorating. We're going to be redecorating this room, so I might move down temporarily. You can see all the not on that side behind me there. We've got the paint samples on the wall, so you'll see the walls change colour over the next few weeks. So the crafting queue is really nice because you hover over it and it'll tell you the profit, and it's listed in order of profit. So the highest profit first, and then things at lesser profit down the list, which is really nice. And then you hover over it and it tells you where each thing is. We've also got favourites now, which is also really good. And then you can also change the size of this window so you can see more of one side and more of the other. And obviously there's still the same moving of the windows and everything. We can't quite change the order of these to order of profit yet, but I understand that is on the card. There we go. So we'll then do leather arm guards. It's up to 57k, excellent. I've been selling for 37 the last 3 times, excellent, very nice. Recommended operations for crafting professions, selling mainly. I would say, well, I guess you could use crafting 110% as your base minimum. That's what I tend to use. And then anything, no, 110% crafting, the other way around. Or crafting times 110, whichever way you like to type it. Other than that, then I'll probably factor in DB market as well, and a percentage of that. 88 out of 172 expulsum. Youch. With a pre-legion level 100 character, is it realistic to buy a 1 million sub and see if you can make enough gold to either afford a new expansion or get enough for a token and continue from there? It's completely up to you, really. I would say I think you can. I mean, a 1 million sub is, how many months game time would that be for you? Would that be 6 months game time? I don't think it's quite enough, is it? Depends on which, whether you're NA or EU. Or just buying the expansion, you can buy BFA if you can get enough for that, certainly. NSSB Swag, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. 1 month sub. Oh, okay. And the minimum amount for real money spending. Yes, so I would say 1 month. That's how I started my gold making journey, was basically first and foremost I wanted to make enough gold to pay for my subscription, and once I did that, then I started making enough gold for 6 months subscription, because it's cheaper that way. And then I started looking into buying extra things like expansions, and then obviously the Brutal mount came out, and then I've been saving it for that. You found the guru. Going to get the farm up and running with ghost iron plants on your alts. That's a good idea, Dressing Rose. It is quicker to do on alts now, certainly. Yeah, not having BFA does make it harder, but there is still gold to be had in everything else. I mean, I guess I would focus first on getting your monthly subscription going, if that's what you want to do, so you don't have to pay any real money, and then get Shadowlands as soon as you can after that. So where are we at? We've made the things we wanted to make. Let's repost those on, and then we can get to Silent Mouse's crafting we need to do. So we'll do this, we'll post those on. There we go. So 243,000 on that character. Let's log out and go over to El Morte, my blacksmith. You made 3.6 million for the Brutal before starting BFA. That was about the same sort of state I was in. I had about 3 million, and then I wanted to get. I kept on working to try and get the last 5 million. It was tough going. Obviously, being at the beginning of an expansion, it was all new to me. But your past, I don't understand why some people got annoyed because you asked Twitch chat. Not me directly, but someone could help me crafting. No, I'm more than happy to do it. I think it's absolutely fine to do that. But let me know if you do want me to continue Silent Mouse. I'm happy to make them. Twilightning, good evening to you. So his best bet at the moment is selling enchanting mats and making a couple of enchants that are used during levelling on the heirlooms. Ah, right, okay, thank you, Mashi, for helping out there. You checked the server already for the vendor slip, so not possible. Ah, right, okay. Do I think token price will rise a lot with Shadowlands release? Difficult to say at this stage. I don't know. I would have thought, because in Legion it went up really high. Be a nice challenge. Love some streamers try it. Minimum amount of cash needed to start token generation and not having to spend any more. Don't think I can do it. I'm interested in doing something similar myself, starting from scratch again and see what happens. Started making gold because you had a week off work and we were in quarantine, so I had a let's do it and started your journey for the big green guy. Didn't think you'd fall in love with the gameplay around making gold. Well, there you go. That's a success story. If you enjoy it, then that's the main reason, certainly. Thank you, Mashi. I definitely think, as always, my consensus with chat is always think with kindness and understanding before anything else, and you can go a long way. Right, let's open up all our mail for blacksmithing. With token prices, I think it depend on how much gold will be available in Legion. When gold was easy, token was about 400,000 VFA. It was a bit trickier, and it's plummeted. It has certainly. And be a panel host. I'd love to go to BlizzCon for just for the fun of meeting everyone. Certainly. That's fair enough, Silent. Right, that reminds me, I need to do some expulsum as well. I haven't been looking at the expulsum for all my characters. I'll go through and run through them afterwards because I've got a feeling we've got a 5 expulsum there. You know what? I'll do that now whilst it's here. Munnel hardened hoof plates. How much are those? Is that actually worth it? Oh no, that's the tie spray linen one. Okay, that's the Munnel hardened hoof plates for the gold. We won't do that. But we will do the tie spray linen one, which is hidden behind there. Unfortunately, I can't see it. So, alright, everyone needs tie spray linen, so we need to do that. Let's have a look in terms of sales. Let's do that first, and actually let's post everything on first. Let's get this in the right order. Post everything on first, then we can come back. Let's just move that a little bit further down. Legion was best gold making, especially probably because you didn't take any breaks. I really enjoyed gold making in Legion. It was really good fun. Where is BlizzCon usually? It's usually LA, isn't it? The Anaheim Centre. Let's go through. Hillian, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Right, let's go through here and let's check our sales. Actually, we haven't had a look at those. 35,000 in sales, so not huge, but still decent. Coming up close second to Alchemy. Uncanny Plate, Waistguard, Greaves, Cutlass and Shanker, as well as some mounts, inflatable shoes, stirrups, hoof plates, and some more stirrups there. So a good mix of BFA blacksmithing stuff here. So I'll take all of those. That takes me up to 261,000 on this character. That's very nice. So let me just check. That's the wrong thing. Let me check my auctions, and then let's check restocking in case we have got everything done. And we'll go through the blacksmithing. So we know plate waistguard we need to make. Estimated profit 16,000 on that one. That would be nice. Can we make that? We're missing something. What are we missing? Looks like we've got everything we need. Requires an anvil. Of course it does. I always forget the anvil when it comes to blacksmithing. That catches me every time. Yeah, I definitely think getting a smelter into your repertoire would be a good idea, Drizzing Rose. Right, let's go through. No, not bridge saw. Let's go through here and make plate waistguard. That's easy enough. Let's just check that it's on our list to go into the group. So uncanny selling, yes, it's in our list. So then we can post it on. What's that? You got yours something after 6 jars. Very nice. Within 24 hours of getting exalted with Law. It was very nice, Mushy. Congratulations on that. I would like to try the Val of the Sands at one point. I'd like to add it to Awakening's list of things to do. So let's do all of that. It's TSM 4.10 still. It's still in alpha at the moment. It's definitely, but when it does get to beta, I'm sure lots of people will get in, and then you can give it a good look at, certainly. Doing a live Q&A session with other gold making streamers, sort of like an online panel. That could be interesting, Brad Perrier. It'd be interesting to just I'd love to just meet up with gold makers and just have a good old chat about gold making. That'd be the main thing, really. 40 hours of digging to get it to 950. Ouch. Thank you, Jack, for the links there. So let's have a look. We've listed everything on. We've restocked. I'm going to start doing these Tide Spray Expulsum things, because we really could do with getting those. That's 5 Expulsum for the Tide Spray Linen. I'm sure there was a bigger one there for a minute. Is the tooltip not quite working? So yeah, that's 5 Expulsum for that. There's nothing on Zandalar, is there, for Expulsum? No. So we just need to pick up some Tide Spray Linen. I might even have some on me. We do, in fact. So we can hop off here, and we can go have a look here. Tide Spray Linen, continue. So it is 5 Expulsum for that. That's a good deal. I'll definitely take that. And then I'm going to go through my other characters, and then I'll jump back through and do everyone else. Turned in your second set of 100 solved artifacts, and last turn in of the day. Plop. Not even a ding boom Baffet achievement thingy, nothing, just a prop in the bag. That's a bit of an anticlimax, isn't it? A panel on CNBC about WoW economy. That's a nice idea. What am I doing for gold making right now? I'm simply running through my professions and doing their maintenance at the moment. This is my horde character that is literally doing very, very little. We are doing a vendor flip, and we're doing the alchemy transmute. So I'm literally there, done my alchemy, and then we'll go into my mailbox and just pick up my gold from here. And then we'll pick up the expires. We've got 4,600 gold this week from selling anchorweed and a bit of vendor flips there, some enchanting vellum, insulated wiring, and some wildflower. So we'll take all of those, and then I've got 2 brute swords to choose from here. I'll borrow one of them. I'll take this lot, and I'll run a post scan on that. Now these are now, it's interesting, that's now saying invalid based on my distilled water light parchment. Because, because I changed that minimum to be 1 silver, because there's still an error here on the vendor price on these. So I need to fix those up. They're kind of currently not working. I borrowed Torinus's, so I shall wave. There we go. Imagine having your own brew sword, but taking the risk and using someone else's. I could stand between these two, but it seems. There we go. We might as well jump between. I'm a little bit smaller on this one, but there we go. We might as well. This one's away, so we can't all join in. So in terms of that group, that was invalid. So we did fix this up because there's a problem just with a few of these items where their minimum price isn't quite working. I'm using my vendor sell operation here. And so the operation is really simple. If we look at this under the posting, so I'm using minimum vendor buy. I've also put 1 silver in there as a catch-all because it's catching it as as an invalid price. So I'm actually going to put in DB, no, let's go in between either vendor buy or, it's for mainly for things that are 1 silver, because I have to put some of these as a manual price for the moment. Let me think what's going to be the best option for these. If I go back to my groups and have a look at these, it's only some of them that are invalid. So maybe I need to actually make a subgroup and fix these up manual. So I'm going to just make a new group here, manual fix. This is temporary at the moment, just simply because some of these are wrong. So it's insulated wiring is wrong, light parchment is wrong, Major's frothy coffee is wrong, so I'll add those in. Chemical blasting cap is also wrong, it should be 1 gold 15, and this one, in fact they all now are wrong. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just visit a vendor and see if TSM is updated. Maybe they've tried to fix this. Let's have a look. See if TSM has now updated on these rescanning. Doesn't look like it has. I'll just do a quick reload, see if that fixes that one up. The vendor price in the material section with an override. I could do that. But this is mainly, it's supposed to, the group is, the operation is supposed to basically go through, hold on, wrong one. Let's have a look. The group is supposed to go and do minimum of vendor buy price, because I'm using the price I buy that for. Now previously this wasn't, this was working on most of them except for 3 of them, but since I reported that bug it seems to be broken on all of them now. Your unfinished spreadsheet you really don't do anything about. Still says you should do Pyrium all day, except today I think there is 492 gold of eternal shadow in my auction house. Wow, that's a decent amount. I guess I should look at what I could do in terms of my alchemy. But yeah, your spreadsheet is a good idea for that, Metcat, certainly. Posted on manually using the WoW auction house, and it fixed it. Ah, right, okay. So I wonder if this is yeah, this has gone through all of these as it's not taking into account the vendor buy price, not the vendor sell, the vendor buy price. Even though the operation says vendor sell, it's the price I bought it for, which is 120% vendor buy. Whoops. So I really want 120% vendor buy as my operation for this. But I need to put in a fail-safe just in case it hasn't picked those up. So I'm not sure what I need to do in this case until it's actually fixed. I mean, we could try posting them on manually and see if you go to the standard interface, let's have a look. Let's see if that makes a difference. So if we go on to sell and put on something like distilled water, so unit price 2 gold 50, so it's still saying minimum price there. I mean, we could look at DB market for this as a minimum price, I guess. That shouldn't be too bad. My vendor buy price is 13 copper, really. I'm gonna create an auction for these at the moment, just to give that a little look at and see if that updates anything on the distilled water. Let's have a look. Just testing the market here, just working out whether something is wrong here or not. Distilled water still tells me that it's still, the operation is wrong. Okay, Cow King, lovely to have you here. Good night and farewell. What are my goals for the ending of the expansion? My goal is mainly to get every single profession. I'm also having lots of fun leveling characters up, so I'm having a lot of fun with that. Once I've got every profession, I then want to go deeper into each of those professions and collect everything up on all the other expansions as well. That's the overall plan, certainly. So I don't think that one's fixed my issue in terms of posting on the standard auction house. So this may be just a TSM 4.10 issue at the moment. So I might just leave the vendoring at this stage until that gets fixed. So what I will do is I'll take this manual fix. I'll remove those. I don't really want to remove them. I want to put them back in the other one. So what I'll do is actually take vendor cell, drop it under manual fix, and then I'll pour those back in from there, if that makes sense. And then I can take the vendor cell and pop it back down in the base group. Now manual fix is empty again, so we'll get rid of that one, and we're back to vendor cell, which then has the operation. I'm going to just turn this one off for the moment, and we won't use that for the moment. Zorba, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Insert Q soon emote. Everything in this case, all the recipes. Yeah, that's a lot of recipes. It'll be great, but as a lot of work at the moment. So I'll leave that for the moment. I'll just post on my anchor weed at this stage. So I'll leave the rest on. I think everything else is fine anyway. I think I've got everything on. Yeah, we're done posting on that. So I'll leave this character here for now. We'll just stick with the daily cooldown. That'll be fine. I don't need to really bother with trying to get Expulsum on this character. And then we could look at... Bridget's got some mass stuff on. I'll just literally just go through and repost these on. I'll have a look at my total gold in a moment, Philip. Once we go back to Samadan, we'll go through and do the restocking on him, because then hopefully TSM will have picked up all the gold on all of my characters once I've opened it up. So we'll have a look on Bridget. Bridget is literally just leveling through at the moment, so all we're doing here at this stage is just posting on everything I collect as I do it, and it's quite a good way of just collecting up my gold. So we have at the moment 166 gold for this week. Mainly some herbs, bits and pieces, some silver ores, cinder bloom, clam meat, various just random bits and pieces. So let's open up all of that. 166 gold takes me to 4,700 gold on this character. So we'll just literally, this is a mass sell operation. I'm literally just throwing everything on. I don't really care too much about the price of it. I'm just going to throw it on and see if I can get a sale. So for me, this is kind of like a just a fun part of seeing what kind of gold I can earn whilst leveling up more than anything else. And it's nice and easy to do as you're leveling up with a Brutus on. So I'll head back inside here where it's rested, and then I'll jump out of here, and then we'll loop back to Samadan, and we can start working on all our other bits and pieces. So let's jump here. Right one too, good evening to you. Lovely to have you here. How have you been? We're just going through, we've gone through everything so far in terms of restocking everyone. Just need to work on Samadan, finish him off. Doing quite well so far in terms of our routines. Doing good. Me and the family doing very well, thank you very much. Had a lovely weekend with them. I'm going to be redecorating upstairs here, so that's going to be fun. Meant it would be good fun to see Sam run a Mythic Plus now. I don't think it will happen since it's restock day. Oh, right, Silent Mouse, I missed that one. Yes, I would love to do a Mythic Plus, but I tend to save those for midweek for that very reason. I tend to like to restock and keep everything on a gold focus when I do the Wowhead blog. But I am really enjoying doing the Mythic runs. Right, we need to head to Borealis first and foremost. We've got our Torrent of Elements that's sold, so let's head on back to the Snug Harbour Inn, and then we'll have a look and see what else we can do in terms of... we'll do the hand-ins, the daily hand-ins for that. I'll make sure I've popped some tie spray linen into the guild vault for Earthen, because he might need some. Second and third Sundays, yes, exactly. Someone bought 316 of your Umbra Shards for 93 gold each. It's a good day, very good indeed. I'm glad you were able to get some Umbra Shard sales. Right, so round the corner should be some hand-ins here that I can do. So first and foremost, we have tie spray linen which will give me 5 expulsum, so I'll complete that one. Now we also should have another one for 10 expulsum, which is this one, Torrent of Elements. So we'll go and make 2 of those and search for Torrent of Elements. Do we have any on the auction house at the moment? Doesn't look like I have. So I'm going to craft 2. I'm actually going to craft 4 and then I'll put 2 on the auction house. I imagine I've probably got everything I need for that. I can make 46 of them, so the answer would be yes. Oops, no. We'll take 4, it's easier to add them to the queue, and then we'll craft them from there. There we go. Already fishing for 2.5 hours, wow. That's a lot of fishing. Alright, let's make all of these. I can make 2 of them, and then we'll just fly on over to hand those in, and then we'll post on the other 2 and see if we can get a sale, just in case anyone wants those and can't be bothered to make them. So I'll head inside and round the corner. Looking forward to opening my mythic chest on Wednesday. There we go, Torrent of Elements, enchant weapon, and then we'll get another 10 expulsum, which will be very useful there. Still missing 4 coins from the fountain, wow. Have a suspicion there are so many gold makers in this chat, thick as thieves. You wouldn't be wrong, serious. There are lots and lots of gold makers, a veritable gold making community, we might say. So I'll post on those other torrents. Let's have a look. Got some other bits and pieces coming in here. Nature's frothed coffee, tie spread linen net, and Torrent of Elements going in for 359. 266 is my crafting cost. That'll be fine. I'll put 2 of those on. That should be fine. I'm not thick. Just sold a pet for 200,000, 112k profit. Very nice indeed. Right, so that's done. Let's have a look at my auctions, because I probably need to restock on a few things. So there's my list of auctions. We didn't do a full restock on Samadan, so let's have a look. Cooking, enchanting and tailoring. Doppelbot, good evening to you. So we've got loads of things here. 24,000 in potential profit here. 15 Accords of Haste, 15 critical strikes. Some cooking, we've got some bear tartare. Now I don't seem to see any of the cooking wise. Let me just think on this. The Dubious Delight, that's because the profit margins are so small on those at the moment, 16 silver. That's because the Questionable Meat, my mat cost is 12 gold, and my min buyout now on Questionable Meat is 10 gold, 67. So before I make anything, I'm just going to have a look at that meat and see if we can get our average down. Questionable Meat, yes, we've got 16 at 1067 there, so I'm going to buy those. It won't do much for my averages, but it will help a little bit. If I can just get my general average down, my smart average, that will help over time. Obviously it won't help in this situation, but we should be alright at the moment. Okay, so in which case let's have a look at our list of things to make. Going to start the rest of Legion fishing after this. Loved it up by now, very nice. Oh, Shadow Song, yes, there's a medium pop. And Kentucky, thank you very much for the follow. Lovely to have you here. So in terms of gathering, what are we missing? Let's select all our professions. So we need dye, we need some moist fillet. We don't need any veiled crystals, so we've got plenty of veiled crystals on me. That's a nice situation to be in. And it's mainly cloth looking at this. So let's look at our task list. We've got a couple of daily cooldowns to do, so let's craft one of those. Hexweave cloth. And then let's close that down and open up enchanting crafts, and we'll do that one. So that's done, and then expired auctions we don't need. A load of stuff to get from the guild bank and a little bit from the auction house. Some more Frostweave cloth by the looks of things. let's have a look at that. What's the price of frost leaf? Let's go browse and let's go scan. It's a nice and cheap, 18 silver. So fatty bear steak, I'm going to buy, I only need 5, but at that price, at 4 silver, I'm going to buy everything from the 4 to the 5 silver. And we'll have a good stock of that. And the frostweave cloth is also looking very interesting at 18 silver. My smart average buy price is 55 silver, so we can go quite a bit less than this. In fact, you can buy all of that up for 249 gold, which I'm going to do. I'm going to buy all of the frostweave cloth, buy all the things. I'll collect those up. Might as well have a good stock of those. There we go. And then tailoring crafts, we need to do a fair amount. We need to go to the guild bank to pick up all of our dyes and bits and pieces, which we can get from there, so that's easy enough. Head on into here, and then we'll go this way. This is TSM 4.10 Doppelbock. It is absolutely fantastic. Really like the quality of life changes so far. Running the legacy raids for all the things makes you drown in it. That's fair enough, actually. I should start doing all the things just so I can get some decent materials. So we're done on that respect. So all we need to do now is do some tailoring. What do we need to do? Bolts of frostweave, 12 of those. We'll let that run through. How ready for release does 4.10 feel thus far? You know what? I find 4.10 seems more stable than the current release of TSM 4.9. So I would say this at alpha, I would release it now. But obviously the TSM team have their reasons why they want to keep it in alpha for a little bit longer, and then they can start doing the beta after that, and then more people can test it out. But I'd love to see more people testing it, certainly. And anyone, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. First item for you to farm the dagger from the rare spider in Blackwing there. The shadow stars. Oh right, okay, that could be interesting. So start your own all the things. Seems like something you would enjoy, but I'm kind of afraid it would drive you nuts. I recognise in me the collector in me would be very tempted just to keep on doing lots and lots of things, and so for me, I'm doing a mini all the things myself in terms of a profession all the things as best I can with what's available. Doing splendid, doing another Keystone Master on a different character. Other than that, doing fine. Oh, fantastic! So is Keystone Master when you get plus 15 in time on all the different mythic characters, and then you get a mount, don't you? I'd love to do that before Shadowlands releases. It's red air, right? Just go around there and kill all the Vile Pataldons. Yeah, that's the one for your Dream Leaf. You just do that 10 times. Yeah, we did give that a look at one of the streams, didn't we? Plus 15 in all dungeons. If you do plus 10, you get the Awakened, and plus 15 is the mount. Ah, right, okay. So yeah, I would really like... I don't feel I'm quite ready for a plus 15 yet. How high have we gotten so far with ours? We've done plus 7s and plus 9s, I think. Use all the things to see the sources, where it's from, like the expansion, so you can put it in your TSM in the right group. Also, you can see what some items are useful. That's a very good idea, Jack, actually. I like that idea. What do I need to collect here? Some more ionised minnow, by the looks of things. Well, we can use a minnow vac for that, certainly. Yeah, you have to do the 15 in time, don't you? Maybe that's something we can work towards as a stream collective to get as many plus 15s as we can for people. I'd like to do that as an aside to the gold making. Master Louis, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. All things helps you with gems from old expansions to vendor. Aha. It almost crashes your game all the time. Oh, that's a shame. We need a carry. We can see what we can do, certainly. I'm sure I've done that. Yes, I have. Let's come back. So we need some ionised minnow, so let's go over and head to the Minnovac. Might as well get our last thing. Do we have everything else? Looks like we should have for our list. I haven't got the transporter yet, so I'm going to have to fly the old-fashioned way over to Mechagon. But that's okay, we can chat whilst we go. I'm doing very well, thank you very much. We're just going through restocking on all our characters. I still need to go through and do Earthen. Earthen needs the Expulsum, so we can do that. I was going to check on my total gold as well, wasn't I? So this should work now if I go total gold. So we now have total gold 1.1 million. So Samadan's got 300,000. Stabadan's got 122. Awakening's 259. Earthen's 243. El Morte 261. So that's all fairly equal. So that's blacksmithing and leatherworking and alchemy, all around the 250,000 mark. So they're all holding their own. Stabadan as inscription looks like he's doing less at 122,000. So if Stabadan's going to do any better, we really need to get into the glyphs market, I think, to flesh out inscription. That way we should get a bit more gold coming in. Samadan's doing quite well, obviously having 3 professions with the cooking included, as well as a full depth tailoring and enchanting. So Samadan always seems to be a little bit higher, certainly. And I obviously focus on Samadan the most. How much gold will I get per month in average? So it's looking at my average profit per day is 12,700. So if we look at the past month, my total profit was 432,000. So I would say that's a pretty reasonable profit to have in terms of at least buying at least enough for 1 token. In this case, 3 tokens. So that's definitely a good position to be in. Or put more War Scrolls on and keep releasing that all day Wednesday with the enchants. That's a good idea, Mushy. I could add that in. I've got currently 20 on my list, so it does look like War Scrolls do need a little bit more volume, don't they? Don't have to be good if you have enough gold to just buy all the carries. That's true, but I would love to do the actual mythic. I'd like to gear up and do the mythics myself. I think I would feel a lot more, a much greater sense of accomplishment if I do that. I think more than anything else. But I can understand, Will, as you said, it's not necessarily something you always want to do. Where I've got junkyard treasures, we can maybe try and pick that up as we go. Tortolan Seekers, that's interesting. I could possibly do that as well, but I won't get distracted. Let's just run through. Well, our focus here is Minnovac more than anything else. So let's head on straight across. Is TSM 4.10 going to be TSM for Shadowlands, or is it coming sooner? I really hope it's coming sooner. I really do hope it's coming sooner. There we go. Let's just reset the timer on that. And then we'll work our way round to our Minnovac location. There we go. They are really fun. I enjoy them more than raiding. Big thing after 10 is knowing routes and where to take the obelisk. Right, okay. So there's another level to it, certainly. Last Legion glyph you needed just dropped, and now only a few hard to get BFA ones. Oh, fantastic, Edwards. Congratulations on your last one. I should borrow the Minnovac, and let's head over to this one first. Collect ourselves up some minnows. They want to make 4.10 Shadowlands ready. Yeah, they definitely will. There's interesting things to come, obviously, with Shadowlands and the optional reagents with professions. I'm really not sure how that's going to work. Let's head over. I like to go over this way next, because there's a good group of them over here. So I'll collect that one up there. Yeah, Wowhead would be a good point for them, or just look in your unlearned tab as well. Then googling what Boston Dungeon is. Yeah, as Edward said, that would be probably my tactic on it as well. How many times do I check the auction house for undercuts in a day? I would probably check once a day on average. If I'm on reset day, I'll try and get a few extra ones in. If I quite get these, I think I should be able to get at least one of them anyway. On reset day, I'll try and post more than once and do a cancel scan. Other than that, sometimes there'll be a day I'll skip, and then other times I'll try and do regularly once a day. But that's about my sort of average, certainly. Strongly recommend doing a weekly full clear of your vision. Once you get your cape to full 15, increases your corruption resistance, and a percentage stats corruption are super strong for healers. 4 times 9% mastery made you so strong in Mythic 14 feels like a Mythic 8 before you got those bonuses. Right, interesting. That's a good idea. So I really do need to get my my heroic visions done as well, in order to increase my power levels, certainly. Yes, that anti-gravity thing is a really good idea, because you can literally just hover around each of them, certainly. I don't know how many I really want to collect here. Probably just a few to keep me in stock for the moment. I don't know how many I've got at the moment. 201 total. That's enough for the moment. Okay, let's keep with those, and we will we'll Hearthstone back from here. We can get rid of the Minovec. That's done. Tried a vision as a Demon Hunter 430 was horrible. Like I say, just really sucked. I understand. I was watching a Hazel video on them that healers get a special lower health mobs when doing them solo. So I'm looking forward to trying them out solo as well. Cole Horrorfail, thank you very much for the follow. Hope I got your name right. Do I build the Sky Golem too? I didn't in this case. I bought it for a reasonable price. Right, we've collected everything up we should need in this case. So let's head on over. Yeah, we've got all our gathering stuff done. So let's go and start crafting all our things. So this is listed in order of profit first. So 656,000. 656,000, that would be amazing. 656 gold profit on the Accord of Haste. It'd be nice if we can get those prices. Normally it'd be at least 300 off from there, but we'll just run through and we'll craft all of these at the moment. They do get easier if you can stand doing the dailies for the currency. Oh yes, I've got to do the dailies as well. That's the thing with all of this, isn't it? You need to do different things that connect to different stuff. Where is our chef's hat? It is a bit odd, Metcat. I will be putting the chef's hat on when I come to do my cooking, so I'll see what my outfit looks like with the chef's hat on. Came for the alchemy videos, thanks. You're more than welcome. I'm glad you found them useful. I'd like to do more of those for different professions, certainly. How can you create crafting on old expansions? Basically, you have to go to those expansions, and I tell you what, the best place to go to is wowprofessions.com, and they will tell you the exact route you need to do for each of your previous expansions, and it'll give you a good leveling guide from that. So you need to see the beard. Well, that can be arranged. It does look a bit strange, that hat, but I liked it so much I thought I'd try it out. Right, let's try it with the chef's hat on. How does that look? There we go. We're back on with the hat. Privet, good evening to you, Parter. I hope you're doing well. We're just going through and doing a little bit of cooking, and our profession's restocking at the moment. So Mekdal's Big Mac, Bear Tartare, Abyssaled Fried Risole, and then we'll jump on over to tailoring, and I'm sure I just clicked on that. There we go. And some uncanny gear, uncanny braces, and that's a boot as well. Flying carpet, we'll try another one of those, see if we can get one for a decent price this time. How do you stop a item being put in the crafting queue if you already have one on the auction house? So that gets taken account of in TSM, so it depends on your crafting amount. So say I have, like with my uncanny gear, I have 5 items. Say I've got 3 of them on the auction house, TSM will tell me then as long as it's a profit, it will only craft 2 of them. So TSM automatically takes into account having them in the auction house. You do have to, before you start doing, if you say posted a whole load of stuff on, it's worth just reclosing down and checking your auction house window again so that TSM can refresh its eyes on the auctions that you've got on, because sometimes it won't see them, and then you can go into your crafting groups and recraft them. I know it's been heavily nerfed, but I do get the occasional sales of Bear Tartar. I think it's mainly for people running through sort of old content. They still use it from time to time, so long as it's profitable, I do sell the old one from time to time. At least you got flying unlocked last month, and almost most of the Allied races. Trying to catch up on Horde also, it was just too much. Yeah, Height for Shadowlands, most definitely. Really looking forward to that. What have we got here? Quick navigation sold for 390. Is that a profit? That's a profit of 52 gold, so not a huge amount of gold profit there at all for quick navigation. Right, those are all posted on, so we can have a look at that, and then we'll go through and check my auctions, and then we'll head on over here. So auctioning, run a post scan. Cords of Mastery 699, Uncanny Gear at 17 and 16. Bit of vendor flip stuff there. Uncanny Cloak at 1600. Frostweave Bags at 298. Let's look for the Flying Carpet. I'd like to see what price that's coming in at. 413, that's better. A little bit more profit there, 290 gold. And then, yes, mainly the Accords. Accord of... Where's my Accord of Haste? 999 gold. That's a good price there. So let's see if we can get some of those on. How is cancelling on 4.10? It's marginally faster than 4.9. The difference really is down to... oh, we just sold the Critical Strike already. The main problem is it's down to the Blizzard's auction house system and having to confirm things. It's not so much something TSM can improve upon. So it's mainly down on Blizzard's end. It's very odd. We've got Accords of Critical Strike here at 666.66, and then Accords of Haste at 909 but 05. If that was at 99, then that would be a nice mirror. The best thing about 4.10 though is the disenchanting. It's smooth as butter. Works really, really well. Yeah, I don't think they've got a way around it at this stage. So let's just have a look at my auctions at the moment. So we do have a couple of sold items. So now if we hover over our gold, it actually tells me the number of sold auctions, number of posted auctions, 654,000 in posted auctions. And then I've got 301,000 on me personally. So that's all looking in a decent position at the moment. We've restocked on you. We still need to go back to Earthen and do the Expulsum. So let's just make sure we've got some Tide Spray Linen available to him. We also need to put some of this stuff back in the bank. Need to send those over to open that up. And then we also need to just get rid of the junk. There we go. We need to pop a load of that stuff in. Let's just clear some of this out. Put some of the Tide Spray Linen in the guild vault. So let's just take out... Let's just condense that down. Some of these just need to be condensed into one. 22 over there, 200 over there. So we can take one stack of that out there. Zeno, thank you very much for using your Prime. So kind of you, thank you very much. And Lizelle, thank you very much for the use of the emotes. I have a whole lot of emotes for you. Thank you very much, Zeno. That's so kind of you. Thank you for your support. 3 months, that's amazing. Right, where am I here? We need to get some Tide Spray Linen and just pop that in the guild vault for the moment so Earthen can take that. I could send it over in the mail, but we might as well do it this way. We also have a whole load of Frostweave cloth we need to deal with here, so I'm going to dump that in here at this stage. Getting a little bit messy here, so let's have a look at yeah, let's do a little sort of this lot. Let's get Sushi Sort to sort out my guild bank. A little bit of gilded seaweed in there as well, so we'll just reorganize this a little bit cleaner. Do I share my TSM profiles? Yeah, you certainly can. I have a paste bin of all my profiles. You are more than welcome to dig into them and have a look. Obviously it's for TSM 4.9. I haven't released anything for 4.10 yet. Because you're finding a rosé, not really sure what price it should be really. Okay, that's fair enough. Lovely to have you here, Kaida. Thank you for the love heart. Just going to go through, sort this out. Otherwise, Mushy will shout at me for having a messy guild bank. Although, if I was going to tidy this up properly, I would make this frostweave into bolts of frostweave, and that will be neater. But we can at least put all these various bits and pieces in order quite nicely. There we go. Check on enchanting. That's not looking too bad. We probably just need to drop in. I've got tidal core here. Oh, we could do something with a tidal core. Let's make some embroidered deep sea bags whilst I'm here. So we'll go here and we'll go down to the bottom, and we want not legion, not synchronous thread, aqueous alteration. So we're going to favourite this, I think, pop that at the top. I can do 4 to 5. Do I have enough nylon thread on me? I should have enough in the bank, so I'll craft all of these. And I can make those. What's a good gold per hour average? I don't tend to work on gold per hour averages, but I hear maybe about, I would say 10,000 gold an average sounds quite nice to me. I'm not sure whether that's realistic or doable. And then we've got embroidered deep sea bags, needs some embroidered deep sea satin more than anything else. Now I could actually be better off, crafting cost wise is 17 gold. So I'm actually better off buying that. If I can find some for 6 gold 49, that'd be very nice. So let's just head outside and see if we can find some of that. So let's do a quick search for that. Browse. Embroidered, I can't remember how to spell it, so embroidered deep sea satin. It's actually $8.99, so it's still half of my crafting cost at that price. Even 10 gold is cheap, so I'm going to buy all of the embroidered deep sea satin at that price. Get me at least 11, if nothing else. I don't know how much I need though in terms of my crafting. Philip at 33, thank you very much for the follow. Embroidered deep sea bags needs quite a lot of embroidered deep sea satin, so it looks like I'm going to have to craft some. Looking at that, how much can I make at the moment? So it's a -10 crafting cost. You know what, I might wait and see if I can get some on. What's my average buy price? Oh, actually, that's what's wrong here. My deep sea satin price. Look at the price of deep sea satin now. It's now down to 5 gold 91. It used to be really high, but now it's much cheaper. So I'm actually going to have a look at deep sea satin itself. Let's just run a shopping scan on everything. Yes, it's down here at 8 gold 91. And my smart average buy price is 26 gold. I currently have 2,500 in the bank, so I'd have to buy a fair amount of that to get my average down. So it's a big significant price difference, so I have a feeling that I'd be better off buying some now and keep a good stock of it. So I'm going to buy 1,000 of this, because that will help with my averages. That's 100, that's 1,000, 8,900. Just to buy that at that price, which is significantly less. Then I need to go and make sure that my material price is set correctly. Got a feeling it isn't. So I'll just buy those at the moment. I'll take those, and then we'll go and adjust. We'll go into our tailoring here, and we'll go into our reports, material prices, search for deep sea satin. So currently the price is 10 gold. It is using smart average buy or DB market. Okay, so that's good. And embroidered deep sea satin is the minimum average buy. You need to change that to smart average buy, crafting or DB market. So that now says 12 gold. Now that says 10 gold. That's much better. There we go. I don't use much of it at all, Mushy, but I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead to Shadowlands and these things being less available then, so I want to just keep a little bit of a stock for the moment. So I'm quite happy to keep hold of a little bit extra in this case, simply because even though I don't use a lot of it. Yeah, smart average buy is new for 4.10 because previously you'd have it in your settings under your accounting. There used to be a setting here under accounting to use smart average buy. This is now gone, and so we have a separate variable, smart average buy and average buy, so they're two different things. So we have to make sure that if you are switching over to 4.10, if you do use average buy in a lot of your operations, which I do for a lot of my material prices, I need to make sure that I'm using a smart average buy instead. On the TSM Sniper, is it possible to set a minimum price? But for some reason you can't set a max. I would have thought you should be able to... well, I don't know actually, yeah. Do I sell the 30 slot bags? I don't currently, but I might try putting them. Now that the Deep Sea Satin is a reasonable price, we could have a look at these in terms of like the... we've got the deep sea bags now. I can make a decent amount of them. It's actually telling me it's a 71 gold profit to make the deep sea bags. So now that the deep sea satin price is getting a bit more reasonable, my mat cost is telling me 1082. Now that's because we're using DB market price at 1082, not my smart average buy price of 21 gold. Because that's the smallest of the two. So what's the difference between the two? So smart average buy price only takes into account what you have on your person and in your bank and bags, whereas average buy price takes account of your historical average buy price, because you can see here, looking at deep sea satin, I've bought a total of 17,900 of them. The cheapest I bought them for was 8 gold 91. The most expensive I bought them for was 99 gold, but my average is 33 gold. But if you only take into account the amount of deep sea satin that I have on me, TSM looks at the smart average buy price, which is now 21 gold. So it's taking into account the cheap ones I bought recently. So it's a bit more accurate, really. Someone reset tie spray to 50 gold each. Very nice. Okay, Ollie, lovely to have you here. Hope to see you again soon. Can you reset the number of expires an item has? I don't think you can, only by selling something, I think. Why do I use the Blizzard UI for professionals and not the TSM ones? Sometimes it's a little bit easier just to see things in the regular one. Just because of the way it's laid out, sometimes I find it easier just to scroll and find things. Whereas the TSM one, I try to use it as much as I can, especially for the crafting queue. But the main reason really is you've got the craft number here, which isn't as intuitive to me, having the two numbers here of what minimum and maximum I can craft. The profit's always really nice to be able to see. But for me, it's kind of it's nice to be able to look at it this way. For only some things. Obviously, now having favorited patterns, that was one of the main reasons I used to swap to this, because I had all this list of favorites, which made it a lot more easy and convenient for me to craft things. I'll start adding those into my favorited patterns here, certainly. So embroidered deep sea satin, even though there's none left on the auction house now, I'm going to need to make a few of them. Gathering wise, I'm sure I need to make some. We didn't have this in the craft queue, did we? So if we look at we're going to make some bags here. embroidered deep sea bags. We have hydrocore, we've got 4 of those, so we need 65 times 4, so that's 260 embroidered deep sea satin. Take off the 19 we've got, it's about 241, so we're going to need a decent amount of embroidered deep sea satin. So let's just craft, how much do we get out of 1? I think it's just 1 out of 1, isn't it? So let's just make a couple of hundred of those, craft those, let that go at the moment. Would there be a reason to not use smart average buy price? I don't know specifically, Gibson, but because for me, I've always thought, okay, I'll use the average buy price. It's not always totally accurate, because you might say you've only got, let's say, for instance, you only ever bought something once. I guess that wouldn't work if it was for average buy price. Let's think of it the other way round. Let's say you you bought something recently and you only have 1 in your bag, and you bought it for a large amount, but you want to take into account the amount that you maybe farmed, because the way the TSM averages work, it doesn't take into account the fact that you might have farmed something rather than purchased it. So it will look at, you've got 100 items, it will take a look at the last 100 items you bought and use that as your smart average buy price, which may be incorrect because the last 100 items you got were actually farmed rather than bought. So there could be a reason like that, I think, to use smart average instead. Frill Junior, thank you very much for the follow. Because crafting is at a loss, you missed my reasoning on this Malbrax, because there's no more on the auction house. I literally bought them all up and I'm missing them, so I'm just going to make them instead. I should still have a decent enough profit margin on these, so it should be alright. And we're also, this is using my, is not taking into account the price I actually bought this deep sea satin for, because I've still got a load at a really expensive price in the bank, so it's a lot easier this way. What is the vendor flip? So basically a vendor flip is buying something from a vendor, merchant, something like nylon thread, and buying it for 50 silver and then putting it on the auction house for something like 2 gold. So you're just basically buying straight off the merchant and then putting it on the auction house for convenience. I really wish you could get TSM to track my looted materials. It would be interesting. I don't know how TSM would be able to do it and say, okay, you've got 20 Tide Spray and 10 of those were looted and 10 of those were bought on the auction house. Throwing them in the air, something like that. Does average buy bring the price down if you farm some, buy some? Trying to find a good way to find your profits more accurately with sallow pigment. It all depends on how many you historically bought, Edwards, and what TSM has tracked as that amount. If you say have, trying to think of a good example here. Say you, at the very beginning of the expansion, you bought deep sea satin for 500 gold, and then ever since then you've just farmed it. Your average buy price doesn't really take into account. So even though those existing ones are gone, even smart average buy wouldn't work in this case, because TSM doesn't know how to rectify that. So in those cases you'd have to basically just carry on buying more deep sea satin at a cheaper price to try and get your average down. You'd have to get TSM to track that as a 0 gold purchase, something like that. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a 0 gold purchase, but then you don't want that to really affect your averages, because it doesn't factor at 0 gold. It doesn't factor in your time, and your time does have a value on it, which is sometimes why if you do have a mix between average buy and your time going out farming it, sometimes it might be better just to put in a manual price and stick with a figure that you're comfortable with. That might be a more reasonable solution in a lot of cases. Determine hydrocore value. I believe that's why TSM won't show you the profit. Exactly, Tesco. So I've set my hydrocore price. I've set it to a manual 1,000 gold because for me I get them very rarely, and the only way of getting them is through your lovely good selves when I do a mythic run with everyone. And so it's not a insignificant amount of time. So I've just put in a manual price for 1,000 gold, and to me that seemed like a comfortable amount based on the amount of time it takes to run through a mythic dungeon. Obviously I'm doing the mythic dungeon for different reasons other than gold per hour, but it's still nice to attribute some cost to my time, because I wouldn't put a 0 gold in this because it still factors in my gold making decisions, certainly. So in terms of how many we can make now, let's have a look. Let's go have a look at the embroidered deep sea bags. We can make 3. I'm just missing a little bit more to make the 4th one. So we'll craft these. It's telling me we're currently going for 6,889. So we can make 3 of those. We're just missing another, what's that, 41 embroidered deep sea satin. So we'll craft those. Even though that price is a little bit higher, we're okay in terms of our profit margins on these. Thank you very much, Mushy, for the heads up. Heroic 2 now, so it'll be lower than that. Anyway, thank you for replying. No problem. Yeah, it depends on how frequently you do things. Is it guaranteed on Heroic? I'm not sure. I think the farmed items are free. A, it took time, which has some value, and B, you could have just sold those mats. You've lost that potential profit by crafting with the mats. Exactly, game on end. I think it's called, I remember Gumdrops telling me, they call it opportunity cost, basically. It costs that much because you can't get it. Yeah, that's true. Right, so we should have enough for an embroidered deep sea bag in a moment. There we go, and we'll craft this one. So our profit margins are about 4,500 gold, even taking into the price of the hydrocore at this point. So I can afford to do this deep sea satin at the price I'm making it at. So I'll just pop this on. We'll get that lot done, and then we'll go through and we'll post those on. Hopefully generate some sales that way. So I'll go through my auctioning, run a post scan. So the embroidered deep sea bags going on for 6,889. Major's frothy coffee. I'll get those on. See, my Umbra shards have gone below minimum price now, so I don't tend to post those on. Crafting cost is 35 gold, and they're actually up for 30 gold. So that's definitely my hydrocore is set at 1,000 gold. I'm not sure if you can get them from Heroics. We've been doing the mythics, and I've been getting them then that way. That's where I got those 4 from when we did our mythic runs earlier. Real Ginny, how are you? Why am I crafting stuff at a loss? Because there's no embroidered deep sea satin on the auction house. I've bought it all up and it wasn't enough. That's the only reason. And the deep sea satin that we bought was much cheaper than my average buy price, so the loss isn't reflective of the deep sea satin that I actually bought. I hope that makes sense. You can get them from Heroics. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we posted everything on. We have just sold a netherweave bag for 10 gold. That's really cheap. My crafting cost is 7 gold 43, so that's probably not really worth it, but I'll let it go for the moment. I won't bother making some more there at the moment. We do need to get some expulsum on Earthen. We're just missing that. We could possibly get some on Samadan as well, but I'll just bother with Earthen at this stage. I haven't sold much in the way of uncanny gear, but it might be worth doing that, actually. I'll go back to Samadan and get some... I'll get some expulsum that way. No problems, Roger. Lovely to have you here, even lurking. But in raid on the Horde side, oh, fantastic. 2 gold profit doesn't seem worth it to craft netherweave bags. They take so long to craft, they definitely aren't worth it for that price. I only ever make 4 of them at a time for that very reason. Right, we've already got the 5 expulsum here for the tie spray linen. We don't have any, so let's just pick up what we need here. from the guild bank. We'll take the 20. So I've got some nylon thread on me, so I'll just take 20 that I need on this state. There we go, and then we'll fly on over. That's over here for the tide spray. I'll hand that one in. I don't think I've got any other expulsum ones on this character. So let's go over here and tide spray linen. We'll get the expulsum. And there's nothing else I need here. What else do we have? Just wait for that to disappear. Go on to Terrace. No other expulsum on that, so that's fine. We'll leave that there. Finally sold the last of your uncanny cloth. Prices tanked so much. I'm still getting a few sales. I'm still stocking up on it at the moment. My profile's available anywhere. They are certainly, as Roger's got the paste bin there for you. Just want to learn make your own profiles eventually, but really want to focus on getting the Longboy for now. Well, there you go. Hopefully you'll find those useful. You're more than welcome to just pick them apart and take what you want from them. We're just going to jump over. We've done that. We'll jump over to Samadan because you may need a little bit of expulsum from making the uncanny trinkets. So it's worth doing that at least. You hear the birds singing in the background, ready for their roosting. So that's what I do like about it being so much lighter this time of year. And let's go through. Okay, we've got a load of stuff here. We'll leave. Tide spray linen. Go and collect up another 20 there. Might as well fly here. That'll be easier. Pop to the guild bank. Jump in here, collect up 20 for myself here. I've already got 3 on me at the moment, so that's fine. Got 20 there, that's fine. Okay, we've got done there. Oh, Kaidos, so much. Thank you so much for the cheer. Question: did I know that I'm awesome? Thanks for creating a calm and educational space for all of us. Oh, that's so kind of you to say so, Kaidar. Very kind of you indeed, and thank you so much for the cheer. It's thanks to all the lovely community here. Right, tide spray linen, let's get that, and let's get ourselves 5 expulsum. There we go. Streaming live, wow, English. Hey Golda, how are you? 15 bloods at Sagaris and about 3,000 resources up in Legion today for your smith. Another call hound, very nice crumb cake. I haven't really looked at Legion blacksmithing yet. Right, so we are done with all of our restockings. That took us a good chunk of time to do all of that, but I think it was time worthwhile spent. Make sure there's no other expulsum here on this one. I don't think I have. There's an anchor weed here for a work order, Winter's Kiss, 20 Winter's Kiss for 5 anchor weed. So that seems to be 5 anchor weed. The price of anchor weed at the moment, let's have a look at this and we can do a quick calculation. Let's go browse shopping, BFA herbs. So anchor weed is currently quite cheap at 44 gold. So 5 of that will be about 200, what's that, 22 gold, so 220 gold. Winter's Kiss costs about 6 gold, so 20 of those will cost me about 120 gold, so it's worth me getting my Winter's Kiss at this price. My actual average buy price is 7 gold and 95, so this is cheaper. So how many Winter's Kiss do I have on me at the moment? I have 6 in the bank, so let's buy myself 20 whilst I'm here at 6.95. We'll buy those, take those, and then we'll go and collect those up and get ourselves another lot of anchorweed. We could probably do this on Jawakening as well, but I don't want to waste my Silas buff on Jawakening, so I'll just do this on this character at the moment, and then we'll head on over. The Winter's Kiss is, where is it? Oh, it's over here, so that's not too far to go. Let's just head down here. Exboltum shuffling is a time sink. It very much is, so definitely. Right, let's go have a look. Oh, poor corrupted character. I'll have to sort you out. Winter's Kiss. We'll collect that. We'll get ourselves our Anchorweed. So that'll be handy. There we go. Okay, Game Cat, lovely to have you here. Good night, and have a lovely rest of your evening. We're almost done here. Just going through everyone in terms of their restocking bits and pieces. Tortolan Seekers would be handy, but we can't do that quickly enough. Let's have a quick look at Broken Isles. If there happens to be anything Fellwort-wise, there is. It's all the way over in High Mountain. So let's go over and grab that whilst we're here. Might as well carry on with our herbalism journey. So we'll just go to Dalaran here and we'll go from there. And we'll let that run through. Isn't it better to not use average buy even if you buy all your mats, since the value of the material isn't what you bought it for but rather what you can sell it for, so the crafting profit shouldn't be the difference between DB market of the mat, DB market and the crafted goods, since the difference between average buy and DB market is eaten up by the opportunity cost, as in being unable to profit from the raw mat flip. So I tend to, my default material cost includes average buy, but it's the minimum between average buy and DB market. So I try and kind of take a little bit of that into account. But the way it's always worked in my brain to keep it as average buy for a lot of the things that I do get, because I don't tend to flip those mats when I'm buying things. But I can understand your thinking behind it, certainly. What if there'll be a market for the craftable legendaries from Legion, since in Shadowlands you can feed old expansion gear to the new Lego crafts? I'm not sure what's happened with legendaries in Shadowlands at the moment. No problems, Lizelle. Lovely to have you here. Can I have my Tortolan Seekers World Quest, please? You're 450 rep away from Pathfinder. Oh, Gibson, that's so close. If I could give it to you, I would. We want to head over to High Mountain, don't we? Yes, we're in the right direction. That's fine. Yeah, it's a good point, however, because if you do think about sort of like the worth of your material if you sold it, that's kind of like the value of it. But I tend to work my head around the other way, based on that is something that I bought it for, and so I want to use that to turn it into something else. I don't tend to have these sort of like selling in my head. So they are getting disabled. I did hear something like that. Exxon Ray. Packing to go back to work tomorrow after a 3-month break. How did all this stuff get so spread around the place? Oh, Commander Bond, I feel your pain. Thankfully, I'm still working from home at the moment. I wouldn't want to go back to work just yet. Do I have a string for mat price, mill price on Legion sallow pigments with Fellwort? I don't at this point, Obin. I've not really looked into the Legion herbs at this stage. I'm literally just picking up these simply because it's a nice way to spend the last few minutes of the stream. And I know that I will need them in the future, so I'm getting them now.
Have a long tradition of training hippogriffs for battle. Take flight and rain justice from above.
Last stream for the summer. Oh no, Commander Bond. No, getting disabled. That's not the question. What Blizzard said is the Legion generally uses optional mats for the new ones. Oh, really, Cromcake? Okay, yes, that could be interesting. Then I would say yes, it would be worth it in that case. It's about stock control, really. I think that's a good way of thinking of it, Will. Yes, definitely. There we go. Way to value your pigments. Is that one? Is that the Billis one just for BFA, or does that cover Legion ones as well? Because I might have a look at that one myself. We're almost there on this front. Let's have a look. So that was, oh, that is the Dream Leaf as well, isn't it? Okay, I might have to look at that one. I'm going to favourite that one. I'm going to stick that one into my World of Warcraft list. Thank you for that link. That's going to be very useful. There we go. There we go. Oh, I missed everything. I was too busy focusing on everything else here. There it is. There we go. Drop down here for the Fellwort. Whoops. Oh, I didn't mean to get into combat. If I get into combat with a 90 corruption, this could be bad. Okay, I'm going to have to try it. Let's just not get any... oh, we didn't get any corruption problems there. That was lucky. That could have been quite dangerous. There we go. Okay, that one's done. I'm going to half back out of this before I get myself into too much trouble. There we go. That's better. Just the idea, since I'm streaming more, you can dedicate Thursdays for old professions for 1 hour maybe. That's a good idea, Metcat, definitely. In terms of just like building them up. I'd like to maybe separate out the streams a little bit more like that, have them a bit more structured, certainly. Keep up on the VODs, of course. Best of luck all over the next few months for my goals. Well, thank you very much, Commander Bond. It's a shame we won't see you live, but I wish you all the best as well. And I'll see you through the VODs. Another thing to do added to the list. What was that for? Another thing added to the list, Cromcake. Oh yes, okay, yeah. Only thought with granted the craft rules, please might exclude them to avoid the market being cornered, but it's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, definitely, it's a good idea, Cromcake. 3 hours of casting it in a fountain. You have 55 out of 56 of the coins out of it. Oh, very nice, Mushy. Just one more to go. Hopefully you'll get that one fairly soon. And Old Meg, thank you very much for the follow. Lovely to have you here. We will be finishing up in a moment. So I'm just going to think about everything else I've done here. I'm pretty much done in everything I wanted to restock on, and all my characters. We have the expulsum we need. So I'm in a reasonable place here at the moment. We've got some Fellwort ready. We're in a decent position with all of our professions. Our gold reserves are looking pretty decent at the moment. I'm happy with the way things are at the moment. 69,000 in posted auctions. In terms of my graph, we're looking in a good place. Let's have a look at the last sort of month. We've had a generally, I mean, you can see here, these have been the mailbox openings in big chunks here, but we are generally in a better position from last month. We had a total of 907,000, and we're finishing a month later on 1,222,000, so that's a good raise. So looking at the last month, all characters, we are looking at total gold earned 793, expenses 370,000, so a profit of 423,000. Most profitable item, chemical blasting cap. Of all the things, a vendor flip is the most profitable, so it just goes to show. Top item selling, greater flask of the currents. Tuesdays mythic runs, Thursdays leveling old world crafting. I think that's a really good mix actually, Will. Yeah, we could focus. Tuesdays would be a good one for mythic runs. We also want to do another 3D stream sometime soon, because I still want to carry on working on that Toldagore. Maybe another day streaming, but I don't quite have the time for that yet at this stage. We'll see how things go, but I'll just mix it in with the Thursdays perhaps. Want to hear something funny? What's that? I thought I had several millions after buying the Longboy. I did, Sirius, for a while. I went back up to 4 million at one point, and then we had a lot of expenses of token buying and buying Shadowlands Deluxe Edition, buying Warcraft 3 Reforged, buying game time for both my son and my wife. So I ended up spending a decent amount of gold over the past few months, really, or almost the last year, really. We did have a good steady rise though after the Brutosaur purchase. I've just been definitely gold well spent, definitely. Yes, I've been working from home ever since we went into lockdown. I really don't want to go back. I'm really enjoying it because it means I'm more energized and can do more streaming. So that probably about wraps me up for tonight, certainly. I hope you found that really useful tonight with the Wowhead blog and everything we went through. Let's have a look and see if who is on that we could send a host on. I've been farming for the past 2 parts of Thunder Fury. You need 2 pieces of the quest since Kata. You now finally have the other piece drops on a different character. Oh no, Jack, sorry to hear that. And public transport still only necessary for personnel. Yes, basically the government line is work from home if you can. Exactly. Yes, Senza is on. I'm not sure how long because she was on before I started. So let's just have a quick jump in and see if she's still on. If she's still on, I will send a raid over to her because I haven't done one for her in a while. I'll set that up now before she jumps off onto me. So we'll do. Oops, no. / raid Senza games. There we go. We'll have a look. Yep, she's still on. She's using TSM 4.10 alpha as well. So fire away any questions you have in terms of 4.10 again there. I would certainly propose it, Will. I think it's proven it as a success, certainly. I want to say a big thank you, everyone, for hanging out in the chat tonight. Really enjoyed your company. Thank you, everyone who's come in and talked away. My next stream, all being well, will be on Tuesday, and we'll do some mythic dungeons then, hopefully. Looking forward to see if we can get ourselves up to a little bit higher. Let's send some love over to Senza, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Good night and farewell.